Wrestling Omakase brings you a full-course meal of all of Japanese wrestling, men's and women's. Join me, a Japanese wrestling fan for over 20 years, along with a rotating cast of equally knowledgeable co-hosts, as we cover everything from New Japan and Stardom to Noah, All Japan, DDT, Tokyo Joshi, Mari Gold, Sendai Girls, Dragon Gate, GLEAT, Ice Ribbon, and even more stuff. If you're a fan of Japanese wrestling and you want coverage of the entire scene in one podcast, check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network each and every week. Get us wherever you get podcasts today.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
I hate the commentators. I hate the ring announcers. I hate the production. I hate the wrestling. I hate the interviews. I hate their promo style. I hate the way the shows are presented. I hate the way the shows are paced. I hate the video packages. I hate everything about this company with every fiber of my being.
And Rich Craich.
You know, he comes out and you're just like, ugh, gross. Like, look at this guy. In all the best ways possible. He's just the slimiest looking guy you've ever seen. I love him so much. He's so good.
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, what's happening? How are you?
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Great.
There's EA Sports discussion going on in our chat room. I think today is the Madden release dates. Did you go to your local GameStop to pick up your pre-order of Madden so you could play it all night? Remember those days?
I remember those days very well.
Yeah.
Very well. That was a ritual for many years for myself and you as well.
Yeah. Did you take off? Were you a take off work guy? Midnight release guy?
Course.
Break street date guy?
Midnight release that's a little strong. But, you know.
I did
they
the break.
Really do midnight release.
Yeah, I pitched doing one. I worked at a video game store. I was like, we should do a midnight release for Madden. And everybody I was with was like, everybody that worked with me, I was like, because they weren't like sports gamers. They're like, nah, let's not do that. And I was like, no, I think it'll work. So they let me do it, and like 3 guys showed up. And I was like, it's like my friends and a couple dudes are like, a couple guys show up, and be like, hey, you doing midnight? I'm like, yeah, we are. I'm like, all right, take it, I guess. It's like,
I'm more than okay waking up at 10 a.m. on that Tuesday and going to get the game. It was always Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. Yeah. I don't know what this Thursday bullshit is, but that's there was the one time I did the break, like, because the forums would be hot and heavy about, like, you probably remember this, the breaking street date. They're like, dude, I just talked to the guy at the Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
And like, if it was near you, you're like, oh shit. So like, he's like, yeah, his name's Tony. If you give him an extra 20, he'll go to the back and he'll let you break street date on it or whatever. And that, man, we did that one time. I felt like $1 million. But then I also was like nervous to like log in online or whatever, because I was like, I don't know, I don't want like, Xbox to be like, how's this guy playing Madden a day early or whatever. So I was
EA cops to find you.
right. I don't think they cared, but we disconnected the internet just in case. We played it offline just in case the break street date.
That is the most anxious Rich Craich story I've ever
heard. Right there.
Heard.
That sums it up right there, doesn't it?
Disconnecting your PS3 or whatever the fuck from being online because you're afraid the EA cops are going to come get you for playing Madden early. Despite the fact that all the testers have the game already. They send it early.
Correct, testers, reviewers, all the review copies
EA,
are
whatever
out there.
they have a specific name for that, or they used to. I forget what they called it. But you would have blended right in. I don't know, but no, you unplugged that Ethernet cord from the wall, and you took every precaution. You're like, who's that knocking on the door? Like you were very careful.
Like they're gonna doom 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 doom. Come out! Are you playing Madden 11 hours before it's supposed to come out? Oh no, they know.
Yeah. And I know that story's true because that's how you operate.
Of course it's true. Is that not? Does that not encapsulate me in the best way possible?
100%. 100%.
Like taking the risk enough to go to like Tony to give him 20 extra bucks. That didn't feel dangerous to me, but signing online, having the EA cops know that I was playing at 11 hours early, that scared me. But
terrified.
Yeah, some guy, the Joe Kipp says, I worked at GameStop in the mid-2000s. The Mad Midnight releases were brutal, like 5 people. Yeah, because we would do like Halo, and there'd be like 1,000 people there. You know what I mean? And then I'd be like, we should do Mad. And they're like, I don't know if anybody's going to. I'm like, no, people will come. A lot of people play Mad, and then nobody would show up. And
obviously, one of the best-selling video games of all time, but sports fans are a little more chill. They're not going to wait till, midnight release, stand there till 2 in the morning in a line. Just go the next day in the morning when the store opens up, So yeah, but it's a weird dynamic there. I like new systems and things. People will wait, the midnight releases for that. But yeah, Madden was never been a big midnight release.
No, they tried. I know every place tried to do a midnight release.
Yeah.
Of Madden, but yeah, it didn't never take all that well. But this was in the end of the peak days when I was doing the midnight releases. This is like, you and I think agree. 2003 to 5 is probably my. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
I think those first 3 games that were online on PS2, which would have been 03 through 05, was the peak of our era of Madden gaming. I mean, now it's just we've talked about this a million times. It's just a completely different animal now because everybody plays Madden Ultimate Team.
Yeah, get out of here with that
the
bullshit,
stupid cards, and nobody ever finishes a game. Oh, I'm down 2 touchdowns. Let me just concede defeat. It's just a completely different. We had honor back then. If Rich Craich and Joe Lanza were going to play a game of Madden, okay, if somebody was up 49-7 in the third quarter, we were finishing that fucking game.
Oh, absolutely.
We were finishing that fucking game.
You're taking your lumps. Yeah, you're taking your fucking lumps.
And if one of us didn't, you'd be ostracized and you would be banished from the Madden online community for doing so. Like word would get around. Like if I, wiggled my cord and fucking got out of there, Rich would go back to the forums and say, hey, this asshole wiggled the cord.
Order to Bruce for TD. Wiggled the cords.
Right. Yeah. We can't, and then word would get out and then nobody would play you anymore. It'd be like, oh, you're a fucking asshole. You're a loser. Like, you can't do that shit. You got to finish the fucking game. I want to be able to look at my stats at the end of the game. People today don't play like that. They play their stupid Madden Ultimate Team, and they pay to win. They buy their cards, and everybody has the same team. But a week after the game comes out, they're playing a mirror image of this because they all have the best player at every position because they all buy the cards. And then they just they spam fucking cheese moves on each other until somebody goes up 2 scores and then they quit. How is that fun? I don't know. What's the fun in that? Where is the fun in
People
this?
might find our brand not fun as well, but that's objectively wrong. Our brand of playing was
objectively wrong.
Well, it was much more fun, and the honor of and the rules. Like we always talked about this with wrestling. Wrestling is better when there are rules, and you follow those rules and you stick to those rules. Like, yeah, if it was 4th and 11 in your own territory and you went for it, I'm writing that down, Joe. You're getting in trouble. Like, you're going to get tattled on. Like, that's not allowed.
That's not
like,
Simball.
No,
that's not Simball
at all. Like,
we're
get out of
playing
here.
Simball, buddy. Like,
you ran the same run 300 times in a row. I'm writing that thing down. I'm
you're
tattling
running the
on
same
you, brother.
plays over and over. That's not Simball.
Outside zone 3 times in a row? Hell no, not to me.
Yeah, come on. You're exploiting a glitch. Do something else, bud.
Right.
Wait, hold on. You're setting up nano blitzes? Get the fuck out of here. Go to the freestyle room. This is the Simball room. You can play freestyle if you want, but those are different guys. I didn't bother with that. Simball, we had our own rules. There's no 4th down goes if it's longer than whatever it was, longer than 4th and 3 until the 4th quarter. We had honor. You can't onside kick every time you score. What is this? Get the fuck out of it. You'd be banished from the community. Yeah, that was the way to go, man.
I will say I let it fly a little bit in college football these days. I'm playing the computers. Who fucking cares? But I go for it on most 4th downs.
If you're
these
playing
days.
The computer, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like that.
Yeah. There's no honor. There's no honor against the computer.
This is human competition.
Do kids? By the way, do your kids say playing the computer? Like, what if the boy was playing against the game? What would he call it?
The girl does the most adorable thing. She calls it the robot.
The robot. I like that. Okay.
She'll be playing me, and her receiver will drop a ball, and I'll make fun of her, and she'll go, "It wasn't me, it was the robot."
That's cute.
It is very cute.
Okay,
and
so we would call it the computer, but I don't know if the next generation would call it the computer. Yeah.
Well, the boy calls it the computer, but
okay.
I think she heard us call it the computer, and it's mixed up in her head, and so she says the robot. And I don't correct her because I want her to keep saying that as long as...
Because it's adorable,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah, like when she was little, she didn't say yellow. She called it Lello. And we didn't correct her. We're like, just let her get this wrong until she goes to school. In school, they'll get, but it's cute right now. So let her call the color yellow Lello because it's adorable. It's the same thing. Like, I like that she calls it the robot. And you could see where she would mix that up because she heard it called the computer and she's not remembering right. So she calls it playing the robot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I appreciate
that. I still don't give into them at all. I will, if I play them and if I can smash them 56-0, I will. And I don't let them quit. Like, I've instilled that. Like, you're not. Where? I'm like, where are you going? Oh, no. You're not walking away. There's 48 seconds left in the third quarter, and we are playing this out. So I don't know what you need to do. If you need to get your backup quarterback in there, or
learn something, try some new plays, figure out something for next time. Yeah, this is a learning experience right now in these 48
That's right.
seconds.
I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't sit down here to waste 28 minutes of my life for you to quit before the game's over. We're finishing this fucking game.
I like it.
Now, you listen. I might run the ball. I might run that clock.
A little QB kneel every so often, but
listen, I'm going to run that rock, and we're gonna churn some clock here because I'm not out here to get my little guys destroyed in a meaningless contest. But but you're finishing. You're finishing, so they know now. They finished now. There's honor around here when it comes to that.
I appreciate that. Does the TLB, does she find any does she find that cruel or anything? Because I would like to do the same thing with the baby. It's just if we do play video games. And eventually, I hope one day I'll be a very proud parent if one day he beats me. You know what I mean? If we're playing it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the hell the state of video games are going to be.
I've lost.
Okay.
Like in 25, what I would do is I would use like a horrible team, and I would tell them like use Alabama.
Right. So you're like, Troy and they're Alabama or whatever.
And it got to the point where the games were really good. Like he because he got pretty okay at the game. The girl beat me once too. She beat me. I forget who I was using, but she likes to use Georgia. She likes the bulldog gimmick, the mascot. She smashed me one game. I think I posted the screenshots, didn't I?
I remember that. Yeah. I do remember that now.
Everything went wrong, and in that game the momentum takes over. So I threw a couple picks, and then my quarterback just couldn't.
Got the little snowflake, and it's over. When he's got that snowflake, it's really hard to get back.
Yeah, so then, but every time they beat me, I'd go, all right, well, now I'm using a real team and sit down because we're playing again. And then
Yep.
I'd smash them to bits. Yeah, but she's a really good sport. Like, I love playing video games with the girl because she just laughs and has fun. She doesn't care what the score is at all. He gets a little testy. He gets a little testy if I'm smashing him. Like, he doesn't rage quit or throw the controller or like.
But you can see it in him, yeah.
I could see that it's bothering him when he throws another pick six and he'll start complaining. Like, she doesn't care. She doesn't care what the final score is, and she's a lot of fun. He gets a little testy. So it's so weird how siblings could have completely different. The other thing, like, he is maniacally clean and neat. His room is clean. He lays out his clothes the night before, even in the summer. He makes his bed. His room is immaculate and tidy. She's a fucking slob. Like, how does that happen? Like, she's a total slob. Like, she can't leave a room. Like, anytime she leaves a room, she leaves a trail of garbage behind. Whatever she was eating or drinking, whatever she was playing with. Like, she doesn't clean up after herself. You can't even see the floor in her room half the time. She's an absolute fucking slob. And he's like a neat freak, almost to where it might be a problem how clean he is. How does that? How do they end up so different? It's very strange. When you have your next 3 or 4, you will see that. That's it. Tapping out.
Yeah,
at one.
I'm tapping. Yeah, I think
tapping out at
one. This one's a blessing, so we're gonna call it a day after one. I think.
Oh, so. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're happy, more than happy. And I don't understand. I don't understand how people have multiple children, to be honest. So chasing this fucker around, I cannot imagine what it would be like.
Bad. It's
not that bad with one. It would be much worse if I was chasing this guy around, and then another one was messing around.
These two were babies at the same time.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, they're like 11 months apart or something. They're like babies at the same. They're both shitting diapers at the same. It wasn't that bad. You think it's gonna be bad. Then when you do it, it's not that bad. Like when you get in there, it's not that bad. I don't know, but nothing bothers me. Like,
nothing bothers you, though. Yeah, you're good. No, I know. I mean, I'm fine. Everything's been fine. Everything's been good with one. I wonder if Possibly.
No, see,
it's good to get
being
outnumbered.
anxious again.
No, it's good to be out. It's good to outnumber them, I think.
It is, but you could have like 3. Trust me, you'd be fine. You'd be fine.
I don't want 3 kids.
Yeah, but if you did, like,
yeah,
if you had 3 more blessings, it would be fine. It would be fine.
I'll do some things to try to avoid having another blessing.
No more blessing.
Might go see a doctor to make sure that there are no more blessings. So.
We're learning a lot here. We're learning a lot here today.
Might do a non-invasive surgery to prevent future blessings. So.
No more storks. You're going to be on the roof shooting them down.
Fucking stork out of here.
Fuck off, stork.
Yeah.
That's such a dated thing. Like nobody, like the stork.
There was somebody on my block who did it like last year, and I was like, God damn, look at the fucking. And then I was like, should we do the stork? And I was like, no, I haven't seen one of those in 11 years. This one person did it, and I'm thinking, oh man, should we do the stork? And I'm like, nobody wants the stork. Like, who cares? And nobody even asked us. Nobody even said anything about it. Like our parents didn't say. Nobody said anything about the stork. Like it wasn't. There was a thing that everybody did, and then one day everybody stopped doing it, and now nobody will ever do it again. The stork. The freaking wooden stork. Where do you purchase a wooden stork to put on your front lawn?
I guarantee there's people listening who have no idea what the stork even means in relation to a baby. Because it just kind of like went away as a thing people say. Like that used to be how you would explain away the creation of a child to another child when you didn't want to explain fucking yet. You know what I mean? You'd say, oh, the stork.
A stork? Like what a weird... bird to just decide.
Is it because the baby fits inside the gullet of the stork? Isn't that how it works?
Okay, well, why not a pelican?
Yeah, I guess so.
They have pretty large, Why did storks become the baby thing? I don't know. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, the fucking gullet, right? The gullet. Don Gullet.
Observed bird behavior, cultural symbolism, and folklore. Germanic and Norse traditions. Stork delivered. The folklore held that storks would retrieve babies' souls or even infants from water sources like marshes, wells, and caves.
Who came up with this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What the hell are we doing here?
Like we're pulling the storks are pulling babies out of the swamps with like with Solomon Grundy.
I don't like that at all. Yeah, over time the stork became a gentle, non-threatening symbol for the arrival of a baby. So it was apparently threatening before that because it would steal it from a freaking marsh and then bring it to your house. But I don't know. I'd rather tell my kid all about boning before I tell them that a stork went to a swamp. It seems too complicated to go to and then just be like, I don't know, mommy and daddy were wrestling and then you came, so that's fine.
Yeah,
I feel like it's easier to explain the creation. I feel like it's not that hard to explain the creation of a child to a child versus the stork brought you. They're like, what? The bird? What bird?
Right.
The stork. What's a stork? It's
swamp.
A big bird. Oh, like this? No, not like that. Like a stork. You're like, what's a stork? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't have.
No, that's
how often
an
are you
ostrich.
seeing a stork? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I could point to the skies and say, oh yeah, like that.
Right.
There's a stork.
I don't think I've ever seen a stork in real life. Are storks even real? That's one of those animals where it's like I question whether it's a real animal.
I think they're real. They're definitely real animals. I just don't know if I've ever seen a stork in the wild. I don't even know if I've seen a stork at the zoo.
I've never seen a stork in the zoo in the wild. But I'm not hanging around swamps. Do they live in? They must hang around swamps. Storks? Is that what they do?
Yeah, where do storks live in the United States?
Maybe like Louisiana or some shit.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Yeah, I got no time for any of those states. So why would I?
I don't think.
Why would I tell my kid about a stork and then not be able to ever?
I think the only one I've been to is Louisiana.
Never been to Florida or Georgia or?
No.
I've been to South Carolina. I've been to Florida.
You got married in South Carolina.
I did get married in South Carolina, yeah.
So you do have time for those states. What are you even saying?
I guess I do.
Didn't you get married in a swamp in Louisiana? in South Carolina?
It was a beach.
It
was a beach. Yeah. It was a beach, yeah. I didn't get married in a swamp.
The swamps of South Carolina. You got married in a mushy marsh on the
right,
swampy
bugs.
coastline.
Everyone just swatting away bugs the whole time. Like, this is not very fun at all.
Fucking storks flying around with babies in their gullet.
Right. Fucking gators. Yeah. Oh, look out. There's a gator. Hold on. Move over. There's a gator. So,
yeah.
Yeah, fucking storks. All right. Yeah, but like there's definitely people that are listening right now that have the idea of driving around your neighborhood and there being a giant wooden stork that says Thomas,
right?
11/22/87, just on the front fucking
Frank
lawn.
Ralph Williams, and then the date of birth,
right?
With the stork having it with
Where
the baby
did you
in the
purchase
gullet.
those?
I don't know. Back then you probably handcrafted them in your garage.
I
Right?
guess, yeah. You just got the whittler out there and started.
Get out your sawzall and you just cut into the fucking.
I mean, that's
wood.
good. I mean, hell, good for fathers of that generation to get in there and saw one up. Yeah, I don't know, because you couldn't go to like your Handy Andy or your local. I'm trying to think of 80s like hardware stores. Or 80. Did you have Handy Andy's by you, or was that a Chicago
That's not a
area
chain.
thing?
We had no. We had Channel and Rickle, our local Channel and Rickles, and then
little True Value, a little Ace Hardware.
Well, yeah, True Value and the Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware is still sticking it out.
Oh yeah, they're
like
thriving. They thrive. They thrive in
they found a little niche. They have like a smaller.
Yes, they're the
storefront now,
look. You go to Home Depot, no one's gonna fucking help you, and it's 1,000 feet or 100,000 square foot. You have no idea where anything is. You walk into Ace, and some dope in a vest is gonna say, "What are you looking for?" And then you could say it, and they'll vaguely know where it's at, and that is their
They'll
hook.
know what they're talking about. Yeah,
Right.
they're not going to hire some 19-year-old who has no idea about plumbing and then stick him in the plumbing section. No, Ace Hardware, you're going to get some guy that has been 58 years old for the last 30 years who knows everything about woodworking, and he is going to know exactly what kind of saw you need and everything. Yeah, that's they've carved that little niche. Yeah, you're not getting that at Lowe's. So yeah, they've stuck around. All these others though, they're gone.
Yeah, they're all gone. Yeah.
They're gone. So,
All right. Rest in peace, Handy Andy and what did you say, Rickles? Rickles, that's a good one. I like Rickles.
Channel.
Rickles, that's a good one.
Just True Value still hanging around?
A little bit, but I think they have like the same Ace Hardware vibe where it's like, all right, look, we can't compete with Lowe's and Home Depot in inventory, but we can compete with them on expertise.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I haven't seen a mom and pop hardware store in
No,
maybe
dude, that's
my
done.
life
Yeah.
at this point. Like
No, it's over.
that's just, old Mr. Sanders. He's gonna sell you a bit drill. Like those are all gone. Like forget that. Those died when those guys died, I guess.
Yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, you walk in and then he's got like a pencil behind his ear so he can write down measurements for you or something like that. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's 77 years old and
that's the thing. He's 77. He has an assistant who's like 97. Like he's got a guy that works with him who's even older than him. And he's like, old Bill will show you where to find that. And then you got to follow this guy who's like,
Bill's so slow.
Yeah,
he can barely
Bill
walk.
is so
like, Bill,
old.
what aisle is it? It's 11. No, I'll show you.
Yeah,
Like,
and you can't tell Bill no, so you have to walk at his pace. You know what I mean?
All hunchback. Yeah, he's all hunched up.
Oh, he's so old. Bill is so old every time. Like he's incredibly old.
But he knows what to do though.
He knows what to do. Like he wears those suspenders that cross in the back. They cross on his back, and then there's suspenders in the front. And
with a belt, with like a weightlifting belt or one of those like copper belts. Yeah,
absolutely. Because when he lifts that drill off the shelf that weighs 8 pounds, he doesn't want to blow out what remains of his kidneys. So he's he wears the weightlifter belt with the suspenders. And he's all hunched over, and it's he's even older than the other guy. You can't believe it. You're like, what the fuck happened here? Like, what is this? What am I in? What did I walk onto the set of Cocoon? Like, what is happening in this hardware store?
The good old days.
fucking Don Amici and Wilford Brimley fucking selling me a drill.
It was better though. It was better that way.
What was that second movie all those old fucks made after? Oh, Batteries Not Included. Remember that one with the same cast?
Batteries Not Included. Let me see.
Pull that up. Put Batteries Not Included. It was like basically the Cocoon cast, just in a different story. It was the same group of actors who were like 10 minutes from
I don't
death.
remember this at all.
Yeah, and it was like about drones, like before drones were a thing.
It's like UFOs and shit? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and it was like it was the same people, like Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin and all that whole gang from Cocoon, like cashing in on those last checks before they met the maker. Yeah, I think they made. Did that come out? That was 87.
This says 1987. Yeah, what
year was Cocoon? 85.
85. Okay.
I'm telling you, that was direct result. Cocoon was a big hit. So somebody said, let me see if it's the same director. Cocoon was
Cocoon was Ron Howard.
All right.
It was Ron Howard, yeah.
All right. Did he do Batteries Not Included? Who did that? Let's see if I can find that. No, it was not. Matthew Robbins? I'm not familiar with him.
I haven't seen Cocoon in long
Gotta
time.
watch it every now and then.
It's a hold up? It's a hold up?
Well, Steve Gutenberg. Well, it's kitschy. So,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it holds up.
I like old movies, though. I like older movies, so that's fine.
You're not canceling, Hume Cronin when you watch Cocoon.
Well, I'm not caring about.
I
don't care about that.
It's isn't that? I thought that's what you meant when you said
no.
You're like, is it good? Like, just is it good? Yeah, I don't know.
No, no, you can't. Movies you can't go back and.
Courtney
apply.
Cox was in Cocoon. Wow, all right.
Probably a little young then, right?
Was she the love interest? No, she's older than you think.
Is she?
Oh yeah, right around that time she did the. That's when she did the Bruce Springsteen music video, right around 85, because that would have been the Born in the USA album. She did Dancing in the Dark. She was in that video. She was already a full-blown adult at that point.
She is 62 years old. God damn.
Told you, yeah, she's older than you think.
Good for her.
She was the oldest person in the Friends cast. I think.
Oh, was she?
So
all right, well,
she was already established. Like when Friends came out, she was like a known second-tier actress at that point. Like people knew who she was. The other five were pretty much fresh to the scene. Matthew Perry did some supporting roles on different sitcoms.
Yeah. But yeah, she was obviously in Seinfeld, and then Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. She was the love interest in Ace Ventura.
Yeah, she had been around. I'm telling you, she was known. I didn't know she was in Cocoon, but that's that same time period. Matthew Perry did a guest spot on 90210. He played the guy who was going for the tennis scholarship, who had the abusive father. And Brandon Walsh uncovers it when he's writing a story about him in the school paper. And then he also had the great subplot on Growing Pains, where he was the boy. He played Sandy, which was the daughter's boyfriend who got in a drunk driving accident, and he died from his injuries. And then it was like a very special episode of why you shouldn't drunk drive, like that. That's a classic episode, a sitcom episode of the 80s that Matthew Perry as Sandy. So yeah, he had a bunch of
TV. Whatever you want to say about prestige TV these days, it's not like that. This is incredible.
Yeah, no, I can go on it. Look, this is my wheelhouse.
That's it. Like that, they're having a storyline on Growing Pains.
Yeah, on Growing
where somebody
Pains,
dies from drunk driving.
Yeah, he played Sandy. I'll never forget that. Yeah. If Mikey Falcone's listening, forget it. But I can.
That's probably the day you decided you were never going to drink. You're like, God damn it.
That's right. It could have been, because look what happened to Sandy.
Yeah, look what happened to Matthew Perry. So.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't Matthew Perry yet. He was just
I know.
Random guest actor on Growing Pains. But he had been around. He did a nice job on 90210 too, playing like the rich tennis kid. But anyway, Courtney Cox, she was. I don't remember her in Cocoon though. Was she Gutenberg's love interest?
That I don't. Like I said, I haven't seen that movie in forever. I know she was in Ace Ventura. She was Ace's love interest. I have no idea if she was a Cocoon. Let's find out here. This is important. This is very important.
This is important. Yeah, I need to know this now. I don't think so. I'm looking at him with an actress that does not look like her. But she was in the movie, apparently.
Yeah, Courtney Cox. Oh, it looks like, was she in this one, or it looks like she was maybe in like a sequel?
No, she was in Cocoon the Return. You're right.
What the hell is
Cocoon the Return?
I don't think I ever saw Cocoon the Return.
Shit, she was in Cocoon the Return. All right, my bad.
Well, look at her. She looks older in this than she looked in Friends. Go look at Cocoon the Return, Courtney Cox. She looks 7 years older than she did on Friends. The 80s, man. Decimated women.
How the fuck? Cocoon came out in 85. And then they did a Cocoon the Return also in 85? Something is
No,
off
88.
Here.
88 was Cocoon the Return.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I'm surprised none of them died before then. They were old as fuck, those people in that movie.
But maybe they weren't, though. It's the 80s, man.
Well, Wilford Brimley wasn't, because that's like the running joke. Like in Cocoon, he was only like 46 or something. right. But the rest of them were in their 80s. They were old as fuck. Yeah. These were old silent movie actors and shit. They were, but yeah, I got confused there. All right, so Cocoon was 85. Cocoon: The Return was 88. Because Norm Macdonald had a great bit about Cocoon, and I don't remember the specific, but the punchline of the bit was the curse of Cocoon, because the actors kept dying, but obviously, because they're fucking all 100 years old. But Wilford Brimley, with the diabetes, I think he was legitimately in his 40s when they filmed that.
Yeah, because when he died a couple years ago, I remember people being like, well, really? Or it was probably many years ago that he died at this point. But yeah, he was like not as old as I think anybody thought he was when they would see the... let's see. Oh, he died in 2020. Good for him.
He was born in 1934. So he was probably 49 or 50 when they shot the movie.
That's crazy. Yeah. But he had the big mustache and the big, he was 51. He was 51 when Cocoon came out.
When it came out. So when they shot it, he was probably 49 or 50. It's crazy. Because there's always those memes like, Tom Cruise now is 11 years older than Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon or whatever, Yeah. but those other fuckers were born in like 1903.
Yeah, no, they were like talkies. They were like early talkies actors and stuff. So yeah, they were.
Yeah, Hume Cronin was born in 1911. Let's check out Jessica Tandy. 1909.
Wow.
Yeah. What was that fucking movie?
Imagine being born in 1909. That's so long.
Right? Like in 1929, she was like an adult.
Right.
But listen, it's going to happen to every one of us.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we're going to
It's not a disease. It just fucking happens. Who's that? I don't even think they're the oldest one. I can't think of the guy's name. Cocoon film, 1985. Don Amici, I think, was the oldest one. Yeah, 1908. He was born in 1908. So.
Someone in the chat room says, imagine being born during Red Dead Redemption, which is true. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was just talking to my father-in-law yesterday, and he said that he was talking about his father having played high school football. And I was like, hold on a second. What year was your father born? And he was like, I think he said 1929. I was like, so he played high school football in like 1942? Like leather helmets and shit? right. Like yeah. He's like, he used to tell him like
fucking veer, the inverted.
He said Civil War veterans used to like live, like he knew Civil War veterans.
Yeah, that always blows my mind.
Yeah, and they like, they were still like using horse-drawn carriage to go from like their town to the next town over, which was like Dime Box, and they would take a horse and a carriage to go to Dime Box to like get supplies for the next, just crazy shit. And that's like one generation
away from what you're doing.
That's like, he knew that guy. Like my father-in-law knew that. Like that, my father-in-law's grandfather, who he said he was watching a Cowboy game with him once when he was a kid, like in 1970 or something. And the receiver dropped the ball, and he was like, like him and his father were like, oh man. And then they showed an instant replay, and his grandfather was like, god dang it, he dropped it again. Because he didn't understand the concept of instant replay.
Yeah.
But
stop passing to him. I can't put it.
But that guy was born in like 1897.
Right. Give him a fucking break. Yeah.
Like he was born in like 1897. So he, like, television was like, like he couldn't believe his eyes. He's watching, he's in his 80s watching or 70s at that point. Yeah, almost his 80s. He didn't understand. He thought it was the next play.
Yeah, think of the technological advances that occurred in that man's lifetime. Like, we think a lot happened in our lifetime, and a lot did, of course. A lot has changed. But that guy went from, like, the radio didn't exist when he was born.
Right,
like
the radio didn't exist.
Radio didn't exist.
And you have to also remember, He also grew up in extremely rural Texas in 1897.
Right, so they were late to probably every one of those technological advances by
Bro,
years.
He grew up in like Deadwood. Like
right,
he grew up in a Clint Eastwood movie. Like there's fucking
like people getting
tumbleweed
shot on the streets. He's like, walking to
like
public hangings. Him and his brothers and sisters would go to public hangings in the town or whatever.
They fucking had outhouses and they didn't have plumbing and they fucking had, they'd be like, oh, we gotta lock up. There's outlaws in town. Like shit like that was going on when this guy was a kid, and now he's, now he's watching, Roger Staubach's receiver drop a pass. He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He thinks it's another play.
That's pretty awesome.
That was a great story. He told me that story yesterday. I was dying.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just an old ass Texas guy. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I suppose we should talk about wrestling at some point. But someone in the chat room asked, was any women hot in the 80s? And we've had this discussion already. I'm sure there's go back into Flagship 24/7. There's probably many discussions about that. But I think we declared no, nobody was hot in the 80s. So
80s a little rough, 70s late 70s a little rough. Now I can listen, I'll bang out some ladies from the 60s. I like the 60s.
Oh yeah,
I'm a fan of the 60s. But yeah, late 70s and especially the early 80s, a little rough. Nobody looked good. The men didn't look good. The women didn't look good. The fashion was really bad. It was a little rough.
Yeah. So we've had that
Everybody
discussion.
Looked old. Everyone looked older than they were.
Yeah. Like I said, look up Courtney Cox Cocoon and you'll see. Do a Google image search of her. She looks older than she did on Friends by like 10 years. Mm-hmm. She looks like shit. She's an incredibly attractive woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what the 80s did to Courtney Cox Cocoon. That's what the 80s did to. Now she looks fine. Like she's, but again, she is like a very, very, very attractive woman. And she looks, I don't know, fine.
You got to remember Courtney Cox too. She was Alex P. Keaton's main girlfriend on Family Ties. She was very well known. That's the point I was making before.
Yeah. She's
like that was a big role. She had like a full season role when she was Michael J. Fox's love interest or whatever. And that was a great episode too, where they like break up and they play the fucking song At This Moment by Billy Vera and the Beaters. Like that's a famous sitcom scene as well. So look, you get me in my wheelhouse, man. I could just go. You better start talking about wrestling.
I know. This is fine. Yeah, screw it. Fuck the G1, whatever.
If you don't, then
this could be the whole thing. Yeah, this could be it.
One more quick Family Ties.
Apologies to Hiroyoshi Tenzan. We're going to instead talk about Family Ties.
So I found a Family Ties fast channel where they just play Family Ties episodes.
Dude, I've become a fast channel guy. I think I've converted to the fast channel. The idea of a fast channel kind of rocks for me. Yeah. I wish there was fewer commercials, obviously, but no. Recent vacations I've been on. It's like we go to a house and it's I'm rocking the baby to sleep and I'm just combing through fast channels and I don't know. I could get down with the fast channel. I think.
So TLB had never seen the show, and I called her in the room because I wanted to like Justine Bateman at that age looks a lot like TLB looked at that age, like when they were both 18 or whatever, So I wanted to bring her in the room and show her and see what she thought. I'm like, look, that's like your 18-year-old doppelganger, right? So she's like, what is this show? And I explained to her she'd never heard of it or seen it because she's like on another planet sometimes with shit like that. So she's watching it for a couple minutes. She goes, that guy's really hot. And I was like, oh my God, you're into Michael J. Fox? She's like, oh no, the dad. I was like, Michael Gross? You want to bone Michael Gross? What is happening?
What?
Yes. Yes.
She's
what? Like, no. She's like, not him. She's like, I know him. He's from Back to the Future. I'm talking about
the gray hair with the beard.
Yes.
And okay. But that's not what you look like at all. So
like naturally, I thought she was talking about Michael J. Fox. Like, all right. She thinks Michael J. Fox is hot. Whatever. And then she's like, oh, no, I know him. She's like, I'm talking about that guy. I'm like, the dad. Mike,
she likes the plaid and the rolled up sleeves. Yeah,
she's horny for Michael Gross.
You said she's a salt and pepper girl.
Loves
so
not
salt and pepper, but salt and pepper as in the hair. Yeah. I don't know. Is she a salt and pepper fan as well or no?
Maybe. I could ask her.
They have very racy lyrics. She seems to enjoy racy lyrics. She likes
the racy lyrics. They were kind of the forerunners.
Yeah, them racy... and early TLC too. Yeah, Salt and Pepper was the forerunner. Early TLC. Yeah, very racy. Very.
Shoop is a very sexualized.
Yes.
Song,
oh God, Salt and Pepper owning sexuality for women.
Yes.
Early on.
TLB loves that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was horny for Michael Gross of Family Ties.
He's like a dweeb with like. He's supposed to be a dweeb on the show, right? Like you're supposed to not respect him.
Him and the wife are like they're old hippies, but in a corny way.
Yeah, right.
They're and she don't know the character. She just looked at him and got all hot and bothered, I guess. But that and Will Ferrell, but specifically from Talladega Nights, no other time. Like she thinks Will Ferrell is hot in Talladega Nights, but not in any other role, which is very specific. Number one,
yeah,
and a little odd. I don't know what's weirder, that or Michael Gross.
Michael Gross is tough. Yeah,
it's I don't know. Anyway, that's more Family Ties.
Keep going.
Yeah. When she was 18, she looked just like Justine Bateman. You're just gonna have to trust me on that one.
I'm seeing her, and I could see it. I know what adult TLB looks like, and I see what this one. Yeah, I see what she looks like at 18. So,
like when I see her high school pictures at her mom's house, like that's what she looks like.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine. We don't have to talk about wrestling. I don't really care that much about wrestling.
Yeah, I am talking about you. Like you look like Justine Bateman from Family. Remember I told you that?
No, let me see.
Yeah, come here. This one. You're live to the world, by the way, so don't get me canceled. Yeah, so look, we have no, not her. That's Courtney Cox. When you were a teenager, you looked like her.
Okay,
do you agree? Like with the low set eyes and the
I guess so. I could like from a side glance, like just a quick glance.
At a glance?
Just the face.
Yeah.
Like my hair wasn't like that, but.
Yeah. No, of course. That's,
but I think just the eyes, like the setting of the eyes.
Yeah, the low set, like wide eyes and you get the same face structure.
Yeah, it was a facial structure.
And her character's like real ditzy and everything, so, just reminds me.
That didn't work.
But but I told
is she still there? Is she still there?
Michael Gross.
Yes, please. We need to live.
All right, so come here. The story I told was when I put the show on that one time and you came in the room. Here's the cast. And you said to me, "Oh, that guy's hot," and I assumed you meant Michael J. Fox, and you were like, "No, the other guy," and it was the dad. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that picture's not the best, but in real life, the show was on, I think.
Yeah, the show was on.
He was doing fatherly duties, and he was kind of cute.
Yeah, well, there you have it, straight from the source.
Horny for fatherly duties. She's a big fan of putting food on the table. I like it. So.
Yeah, fatherly duties. Yeah. So there you go, straight from the source.
So there you go. She's horny for the Salt and Pepper and being a good father. So
watching Michael Gross set Tina Yoder straight on some.
Got her all hot and bothered. So. I like it. Well, good for you. Good for you, because you put food on the table and you got some salt and pepper too. So you're good.
I do.
Yeah. So you're in the right place. So I like how the first thing she mentioned was fatherly duty. She was just hot for him, like, coming home from work and getting things done, and
Yeah,
that's good. Hey, good for her. I appreciate that. Hey, you always make fun of me. I like the working women. I'm a big fan of the working.
I know you do like that. You like that. The office. You like a woman that's coming straight from the office. I know you're into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, says that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's not make it weird though. Yes, you dress very professionally. Yes.
Business casual.
Yes. Correct. You're double fisting those Sprites. What's going on?
One's for me, one's for the girl.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, we're watching. All right, I'll go. I'll let you be.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Was she offended by my my attractiveness to working women, or no?
She can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
But she heard me saying that you like, and then she's like, "Oh, that's how I dress at work." And I'm like, "All right, listen, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
I mean,
let's not make it weird.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. No, yeah, she comes home some days, and I ain't gonna say
I don't mind going to the bank. I don't always use the drive-through ATM. Sometimes I go in. So.
You looking for a farm loan?
No, but I could talk. I could talk.
You looking to buy a tractor? That's a lot of what she gets. So
I could probably use a tractor. I don't know.
Yeah, do some plowing.
I could probably make mowing the backyard a little easier. I don't know if
a little ride on.
It wouldn't take. I'd ride for about a minute and a half, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, get the good turn radius on something like that. We can do any wrestling on this show at all, or what is this?
Sure. You want to talk?
The YouTube listeners are going to be irate at this show.
That guy hasn't commented in a while. The guy that used to get really mad about
I think he gave up on us.
I think he gave up. Yeah. Because I was like, brother, it's going to happen. You're just going to have to deal with it.
This is what we do. Yeah.
Well, the No Dopes chat room is just going nuts trying to send us hot women of the 80s and trying to get us to agree or disagree. One guy said 80s hair metal chicks. 80s hair metal chicks are not hot at all.
Not really my bag.
No,
either.
they're not my bag either.
But
Phoebe Cates. Somebody dropped Phoebe Cates in the chat, and I will.
Phoebe Cates.
There's some outliers
from Fast Times.
Yeah, there are some outliers for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's a non-disputable. Yeah, of course.
That's just she was an iconic.
Right, that was an iconic hottie. Like no one's going to disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying, well, Heather Locklear. Well, yes, I mean,
Get that. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if you go to the mall in the 80s, it's a
the
rough
big hair.
scene.
You got to be into the big hair and the
it's a rough scene. Yeah.
This guy said Joan Jett. I mean,
I don't know. Not for
me. Yeah, not for me, brother. So
have
fun with that.
Tough.
But
a little too tough for me.
Right. I said I like working women, not tough women. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if you're into like Rhea Ripley or something, I'm just never been my thing. Yeah.
Well, all my friends will be. Yeah. I've stopped getting that. That's how I know WWE is not hot anymore. My friends have stopped texting me about how hot Rhea Ripley is. They were big into that. All my Attitude Era friends that like dropped off and stopped watching wrestling, they started getting into it like 3 years ago, and they were just all incredibly horny for Rhea Ripley. And I was like, all right, well, have at it, guys.
Yeah.
But
that
has dried up. I have not heard anything from them for a while.
And she just looks like a demented mime to me. I don't know. She looks like she dropped out of mime school because she was smoking in the bathroom. Yeah, like I feel like
you think smoking in mime school, and they're going to be like, "We're very disappointed in you, Miss Ripley. You have to leave."
Yeah. I think she went to mime school, got caught smoking in the bathroom or something, and got expelled. And like,
would they talk to you at mime school when they expelled you, or do you think they would like?
No, they mime it out. Of
like,
course,
the door.
Yes.
They like make a door and open it and point to it.
And then you got to exit. Right. That's. She looks like she was expelled from mime school. That's what Rhea Ripley looks like to me. I'm not sexually attracted to her at all. And I usually don't like to do this because people get bothered by it and stuff. Like, everyone's attracted to different things.
Yeah,
look, she's a lovely woman, and I'm sure Buddy Murphy is very happy. But
Buddy Murphy, not even the Buddy Matthews using this NXT day, fucking.
In that house, he's probably still Buddy Murphy. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, like, honest to God, I wouldn't even take her number. I wouldn't even take her number, Rich. Not my thing.
That's fine. We should probably move on to wrestling. That's enough. That is a good way to know that we have gone too far and we must talk wrestling. Okay, tonight on the Flagship, we are going to be talking about the G1 Climax, the semifinals and the finals.
We're 90 minutes into this fucking thing.
Well, now we're getting
tonight on the Flagship.
Tonight. We're professionals. Look, here's the thing. I go back and I listen to the Flagship 24/7 channel. By the way, voicesofwrestling.com/YouTube, youtube.com/voicesofwrestling. One thing that I love, and also I'm not sure if it's good, I listen to our shows from 2014 and they are the same show. Now, is that good or bad? Some people might say it's good. Some people might say it's bad. But like, there are things that change, like the content of what we talk about, the promotions that we talk about changes, but the basic tenor of the show has not changed at all. And I think, again, I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I think several people would call that good, and some people might think that that's bad, but I appreciate it. I like to know that we're not changing for anybody.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
So,
global brand. That's what we do. Paul. Fucking Paul Levesque. I don't think we're going to talk about Paul Levesque at all tonight, and that's fine. We're going to preview the G1 Climax. We're going to talk about Tetsuya Naito winning the GHC title. The Noah Legacy Rise. I feel like all their shows are called Legacy Rise now. They got this thing like Worlds Collide where every time I watch a Noah show, it's called Legacy Rises. Every time, I think. I don't know why it's always Legacy Rise, but I feel like it's always Legacy
Feels
Rise.
like it.
Right? Isn't every show that they do called Legacy Rise these days?
It definitely feels like it.
I feel like we've talked about Legacy Rise. Like this show was called Legacy Rise. The next show was called Legacy Rise. And I swear to God, we've talked about Legacy Rise before. But anyway, they also revealed their N1 blocks, the N1 victory starting in September. So we'll talk about the N1. We'll look a little bit at AEW's All In card, which is starting to take a little bit of shape. And then I do want to start off with this story because this is the story that just will not go away. But we haven't talked about it yet, so we're not letting it go away just yet. The Avery Styles story. So... Do you want me to set the stage, or does everybody? Should we just assume that everybody on Earth knows the Avery Styles story at this point?
Could set the stage, I guess. Set it up a little.
All right. So this all started when Natty Neidhart. Don't call her Natalia on the Indies. She's Natty Neidhart. She wears a mouth guard, so you better respect her. She credited young Avery Styles, the 19-year-old son of AJ Styles, for paying his dues. And longtime indie worker Eric Cannon, who had just recently worked with him the prior weekend at GCW and First Wrestling, and that whole weekend when they were in Minneapolis, piggybacking off SummerSlam weekend, Eric Cannon was like, "Whoa, I can't. No, hold on, I can't let this stand." He jumped on Twitter to say, "Quote: As someone who watched this kid skirt away from helping with a single thing at this very show, I'd just like to say." LOFNL. And that set off a firestorm, which began with Avery's dad, AJ, jumping in and saying, quote, "He was paid to wrestle at GCW, not help you put up and take down the ring. That sounds like your job. You just sound like a jealous douche." And then Cody Rhodes jumped in and Gabe Sapolsky jumped in. And then
we get all that. We'll get all that.
Yeah, and then it just got off the fucking rails at this point. So there's the stage set. Joe, how do we begin?
I mean, I think at this point, the people that, at least to me, look the worst are the wrestlers defending the kid. I'm shocked that so many wrestlers are defending the kid. Now, I understand the motivations behind it, and we'll get into that as we talk about it. But look, it wasn't just Eric Cannon, who we should point out, very respected on the indie scene.
Oh, yeah.
In that part of the country. Someone who's considered, a good guy and someone respected on the scene and a professional and all those things, is worked during the peak indie era and worked with a lot of your favorites on national TV and all of that. And someone who is considered to do things the right way. Now, it wasn't just him with his tweet saying that the kid wouldn't grab some chairs. There were other people that worked the show who also jumped in when Cannon started getting dogpiled by a lot of the ignorant types on Twitter, fans that don't know what they're talking about, things like that. This became a tribalist issue like everything.
No,
because
no way, really?
AJ Styles, being WWE and, so it became that of like everything else. But, if you wade through a lot of that shit, there were other people who worked the show who said, yeah, the kid was, it was disrespectful all night. He was working out in the ring, and when we were ready to open the doors and we asked him to get out of the ring because we want to let the fans in, and we had a hard time getting him out of the ring just so we could open the doors. There was another person who I think was a photographer working the show that night who said that, again, he was very disrespectful. He spent half the night back in some shed, vaping, even after Cannon had asked him to help out, and after he refused and then was asking for free promo pics and things like that. So it sounds like the kid's behavior, at least on this night, was not good. Okay. Say he comes across with the way that these people are describing his behavior that night as an entitled little prick, as a lot of 19-year-olds who grow up rich and whose dads are international wrestling stars probably also would be in that position. The difference is I'm not absolving him because his dad was an international wrestling superstar and he grew up. And it seems to me that too many people are absolving him on that premise. And that I don't agree with or believe in. I think that if you're a 19-year-old kid who's worked under 5 matches and you're just sitting around and one of the people running the show says, hey man, could you help us grab some chairs? I think you just grab some fucking chairs. I think you just do the right thing and you be respectful and you do what everybody else is doing and grab 3 or 4 chairs as a token gesture at worst and stack them up. What's the big deal? It doesn't. What's the harm with doing the right thing? And that's the right thing to do in that situation, to look like you're a team player.
It should be second nature, to be honest.
You're willing to help out. Just be a good person. What's so hard about being a good person? But then you see the way his father responded to this, and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. Because AJ Styles, his responses to this thing have been awful. And it doesn't reflect well on AJ. And, AJ comes across terrible. Oh, he's not paid. He's paid to wrestle. He's not paid to grab chairs. It's just such an eye roll. Everyone's helping out and chipping in. Grab a fucking chair. What's the big deal? It's just, especially when you're that young and you're that inexperienced. I don't see the problem. I heard Brian Alvarez talking about this with Dave Meltzer, and he said, I have a booking coming up next weekend. And I'm not going there expecting to set up and tear down, right? I'm not going there expecting to set up the chairs. But if the promoter asks me to help out, I'm going to help. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, Brian Alvarez has been in the business for 30 plus years. He's not being flown in expecting to set up the ring. But if someone asks you for help, it's just polite to help. Even setting aside the expectations and the traditions and all of it, even if you don't want to factor any of that in, okay? It's just polite if somebody asks you to help out with something to help them out. So I don't understand, just on that base level, why the kid had to be so standoffish and flat out refuse, and how on earth anyone can defend that. It doesn't add up to me. I just don't think it's a big deal to grab a couple chairs and stack them up. At least put in a token effort. Make it look like you're trying to be part of the team. What do you think?
No, I'm 100% with you on that. I mean, I think it should be second nature. I mean, it's second nature to me, and I think it's second nature to a lot of people to just, if I'm at a party at a friend's house or whatever, and I'm there as the party's ending, I'm helping grab some stuff.
Well,
I'm
not
grabbing
if you're
plates. I'm
AJ
cleaning
Styles.
up. Yeah, AJ just sits back and says,
he made that.
Yeah.
He made that exact analogy, which I thought was a dumb thing to say. He said, if I get invited to your house for dinner, I'm not going to do the dishes. Listen, AJ, first of all, it's a horrible analogy. It's not even apples to apples.
Yeah.
Second of all, I just talked about my in-laws. Every time I go over there for dinner, the first thing I do when we're done is I help her mother-in-law clean up.
Of course.
And then we play the same game where she goes, oh, stop it, sit down, don't help me. And then it's like, it's a whole bit at that point. But I offer. And I usually just don't listen to her. And I say, and I help her anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's just the right thing to do.
I'm always collecting plates. If I'm at the in-laws or whatever, or if I'm at a party, if there's plates hanging around, I'll collect the plates, especially at the end of the party. If it's like in the midst of the party, I'm not cleaning things up in the midst of the party. But if you're at a dinner, if you're at like someone's house for dinner or whatever, when dinner's done, I'm grabbing my plate. Hey, anybody, you done? Oh, I'll grab your plate. I'll grab 5 plates and bring them to the, and I'll offer to clean them. And sometimes, like you said, you'll get the, oh, no, you're fine. No, it's fine. Right. It's no problem.
Sometimes you power through and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
And you know me, I then joke around and banter about it. But it's like, I'm not going to watch this woman run around like a chicken without a head, do everything. She invited me over. She fed me a meal. She entertained me. At least I could do is pick up my fucking plate. So what is AJ Styles even talking about?
Yeah, well, again,
I saw that tweet and I'm like,
you understand now his mindset and why his child has the same mindset.
Right.
And, one thing that I was, because to me, that's just like second nature at an indie show, that you help pick up some chairs, you help do some stuff. And I think what really bothered me this week was seeing how many people were making this big giant, well, that's not his, you should pay extra to like
such an eye roll.
Guys, it's fucking pick up 5 chairs. They're not asking the guy to build a whole fucking ring by himself.
Right.
They're not, the rest of the locker room's not going to sit there with their arms crossed and say, pay your dues, kid, build the ring, and hand him a wrench and sit there and yell at him while he's not building the ring right. They just asked him to pick up some fucking chairs. Like, it's not he's not being paid. Like, if they want extra labor, they should pay for that labor. It's like, fuck off.
That is
like,
such
come
a
on.
on.
These aren't coal miners. You're not
chairs.
You're not fighting for the auto union.
Right, calm down.
It's an independent wrestling. Put down the fucking Marxist handbook. It's an independent wrestling show where nobody makes any money. The promoters don't make it. No one makes
the promoter's
money.
absolutely losing money most likely on the day.
Is making an ATM run to pay people.
The guy who owns the building is probably the only person making any substantial amount of money on that day.
It's a team effort to put the show on. That's all. It's a team effort. Everyone helps out. You put the show on. It's just the way it's done. Especially when you're 19 years old and you've had under 10 matches and you're nobody.
Like people
other
have
than
equated,
someone's kid.
Yeah. Well, people have equated. I saw a lot of these just ridiculous comparisons to this antiquated business and paying your dues and the handshakes and and hazing. And I'm like, it's shares.
Brother, he didn't get hazed.
Let's please not globalize this into fucking hazing.
Turning into hazing. They didn't tape him to a goalpost and flog him. They asked him to grab a chair.
Yeah. Hey, get out. They asked him get out of the ring so we could start the show. And can you pick up a chair or two? That's really not that much. They asked him,
get out of the ring. We want to open the doors and not break kayfabe. And can you grab a chair? That's not hazing. Get your nose out of the Communist Manifesto.
They were not exploiting his labor. They were not exploiting his labor by asking him to pick up.
You know what it reminds me of? I always use this example.
Is it the babysitting thing?
Yes. The story, this one is the worst one I ever saw. And it was this woman was honestly perplexed. She said, am I wrong to refuse to watch my sister's baby, her niece or nephew, by the way, while my sister takes a shower because I see it as unpaid labor? If you have that kind of attitude, I can't be around you. What kind of human has that kind of attitude where
you may not shower. I'm not watching your niece.
Where you see watching your own niece for 10 minutes while your sister takes a shower as potentially a situation. Yeah, come on. You're not a serious person. That's the kind of person who would say, oh, well, it's unpaid labor to stack up a chair. And that's the same kind of person. And to me, that's not a serious human. You're not a serious human. But, I mean, it's disturbing to me. You see where the kid gets the attitude, obviously. People will say, oh, well, AJ's going to defend his son, so he's going to say any outlandish thing. I don't agree with that. I can tell you definitively, if that was my kid, okay, I would not have said anything publicly in response. I may have reached out to Eric Cannon privately.
Sure.
And said, hey, what's going on with my kid? But I'll tell you the other thing I would have done. I would have sat my kid down and I would have said, the next show you work, you better grab some fucking chairs. Or I'm going to give you a rap in the mouth. What are you doing? Come on, be respectful. Grab some chairs, man.
Yeah, respect the business, respect the history of this business or whatever. Grab some fucking chairs, yeah.
Grab some chairs. Be respectful. Don't make an asshole of yourself and pick up a reputation, even if you're just doing it for that reason. If someone asks you to help out, just help out a little. It's not a big deal. And I didn't raise you like that. And be respectful. And see, here's the thing, Rich. It's really easy just to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us are perfect. And none of us always do the right thing. Okay, I'm not being pious. I'm not standing on. I do the wrong thing all the time in embarrassing fashion publicly in the past. But look, it's not hard to do the right thing. And the right thing in that situation is if the person running the show or the promoter or somebody helping to run the show comes up to you and says, hey, man, you mind grabbing some chairs? The right thing is to put down your phone and say, sure, and grab a couple chairs. And if he would have done that, none of this would have happened. It's very easy. But it's also, we can see that it's his shitty father's attitude giving him the same shitty attitude.
Yeah.
Now, we should note that there was a promoter, I did see a promoter respond, who said that Avery Styles worked his show and was very helpful and did help out. And I think that's fair to put that out there.
Sure. Yeah,
because maybe this just was him being a shithead on that night. Maybe he didn't like the way Eric Cannon approached him. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. But the other corresponding evidence from other people saying, oh yeah, this guy was a pain in the ass that night, wouldn't get out of the ring, was out back vaping, whatever the fuck. I don't know, man. It seems like the kid just acted shitty that night. And I'm not going to tell AJ Styles how to raise his kids, but I'm going to tell you right now, I would have handled it way different. I would have told my kid, next time, just grab some chairs. In fact, I'm telling you, you need to grab some chairs next time. Don't make an asshole of yourself and don't make an asshole of me and just do the right thing. Be a grown-up. Be a man. Be a man and just do the right thing. I don't understand why that's so hard. So it's disheartening to see a lot of wrestlers coming out and kind of taking the opposite stance.
Oh, yeah, we were like relitigating like people putting rings together. Like, you know, Gabe Sapolsky's out there talking about like the ring crew, and AJ's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why I never put the ring together or whatever. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, again, everybody who's ever been involved with indie wrestling knows what the game is and knows.
Yeah, you set up the chairs. Let me set that up. So Cannon tweeted out pictures of Jimmy Hart stacking chairs.
Right.
At fucking 80 years old. Then he tweeted out a picture of Cody Rhodes sweeping up a ring with a broom after a show, okay? To show that, look, this kid's 19 and has done nothing, and here are two of the most famous people involved in pro wrestling over the last 50 years helping out after a show.
And Jimmy Hart is the kind of guy where if he started picking up chairs and I was at a show, I would say, Jimmy, please, no. Sit down, go home, you're good, we got it. Like, you have paid your dues over the last 70 years. You do not need to pick up a fucking chair at all. We will handle that. You know, that I would, if I was sitting down doing nothing and Jimmy Hart was putting chairs away, I would feel like a fucking asshole. I would wonder what's wrong with me, and I would immediately put my phone down or do whatever I was doing and run over there as quickly as possible and stack up as many chairs and help him, or if he wants to help, that's fine. But I would definitely offer, hey, Jimmy, please, you do not need help. You're Jimmy Hart. You're
Jimmy Hart. You've graduated from this, right? And I listen. I'm not. I think that concept is fair. I think you can graduate from that at some point. Right?
There was a you're talking about Brian
19.
Alvarez.
Yeah, he's had less than 10 matches.
right.
Like he hasn't graduated, and I guess that's what we're going to get to next.
No, well, real quick, you were talking about Brian Alvarez. I remember this story that he told many years ago that he was at an indie show with the Rock and Roll Express. And there was some issue with the ring crew or whatever, and the promoter was like, we got to get out of the building in X amount of time or whatever. So he was kind of nervous about getting out of the ring and how they were going to put the ring down. And he said, I think it was Morton, or I forget which one it was, but one of the Rock and Rolls stood up in front of the locker room and said, all right, guys, come on, man. We got to help out. We got to chip in as much as we can to get this ring broken down and get these chairs out of here as quickly as possible. So if everybody could just grab a wrench, grab a hammer, grab a hand, we'll get out of here as quickly as possible. And we'll make sure that, we don't get any fines or anything for the promoter. And everyone's like, all right, yeah, sounds good. And Brian's like, everybody got to, and then he's like, we're all working on the ring. They're just sitting there.
Yeah, they're watching. That's funny. They worked them. They worked the boys into breaking down the ring.
They're just that's sitting funny. There with their legs crossed, just sitting there while everyone else is putting the rings down. But the Rock and Rolls are good. Like, I wouldn't expect Ricky Morton to grab a wrench and start taking the ring down. But I would expect.
You know what? They had the wherewithal to rally everyone else to help out, though, because they know what's going on.
Right.
It's like, look, it's independent wrestling. It's hand to mouth. It's a communal thing to begin with. It's this whole labor out. You're not going to hire fucking union workers to come in and fucking put the ring together.
And you would be out of business in 7 days on your indie show.
And then there are no more indies and there are no more indie shows. It's a group effort to put the show together, and it just do the right thing. It just blows my mind that there's any. So anyway, the Cody tweet of him. So Cody responds to this and he quote tweets it, and he says, "Look, no disrespect, Eric. I think he knows him. He probably worked with him at some point."
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, basically the gist of his tweet was, I understand what you're saying, but Avery's a second-generation wrestler, and I know what it's like to be a second-generation wrestler with a father who's out working to put food on the table and is almost never home. And that was kind of I'm paraphrasing it. And
I'll try to find the full tweet if I can.
His big line at the end, though, was, he already put up the fucking chairs. Like,
okay. Do you want the whole? Whole tweet?
Read people the tweet.
Okay, Eric, my friend. No shade intended, but my outlook. Avery is 19. His father was paying dues and making sacrifices throughout that young man's youth that some people may never understand. When you're the family holding down the fort, to simplify, he already set up the effing chairs.
Okay, piece by piece. The fact that he's 19 is more reason that he should help put up the chairs. Correct. Okay, not less of a reason. Don't absolve him because he's immature. Use it as a teaching moment for the kid to say, next time you put up the chairs. Because I expect 19-year-olds to do dumb things. The second part is utterly preposterous. The idea that because his father was in the business and that he he, I guess, proverbially, he already put up the chairs because he already paid his dues. First of all, the kid grew up wealthy. That's number one. So how many dues was he paying growing up in his palatial estate in Georgia while his father, yes, was on the road? Do you think pro wrestlers are the only fathers who go on business trips? I mean, can we stop acting like this kid grew up with massive hardships? Give me a fucking break. The kid grew up privileged. He grew up so privileged that the only reason he was on this show to begin with is because he grew up privileged. He's not on this show if his dad isn't who he is.
He's not on GCW at 19 years old with 7 matches under his belt if his dad's not AJ Styles. So no, he's gaining privilege from being AJ Styles' son, not the opposite. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Cody, who we've had plenty of conversations with, and I would say this to him if I had the chance. You're wrong. It's actually the opposite of what you're saying. The fact that he grew up in the business, okay, is more reason he should know enough to help out with the fucking chairs. The problem is he has his dad telling him he doesn't have to. I can see you can see what's going on here.
Yeah.
He's got his dad allowing him to be an entitled brat. And my other response to Cody would be, and there's a non-zero chance he would hear this, probably 0, but my other response would be, Cody, if you really feel that way, and you feel like if you grew up as a child of the business that you already stacked the fucking chairs, then why did you have that broom in your hand? Why were you sweeping up that ring in that picture? You know why, Cody? Because you knew it was the right thing to do. It is not hard to do the right thing.
Well, and there was so many stories. Remember when Cody left WWE and was back on the Indies, there was many stories about Cody being very helpful and buying stuff and buying food for guys and going to these shows and being very nice and helping out as much as he possibly could and ordering pizzas for the whole locker room and stuff. So he's talking out of both sides of his mouth here.
He's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
He knows. He deep down, if you ask Cody, if you put truth serum in Cody, he would say, yeah, he should probably should pick up some fucking chairs. Yeah.
I mean, you know how we know this? Because he's sweeping up the fucking ring. Post WWE run. First WWE run. He's sweeping up the fucking ring. So, obviously he gets it. And if your father was in the business, you should get it more than the standard 19-year-old who's in the locker room.
In just innate in you at that point because, like you said, your father would...
ingrained in you.
Yeah. Ingrained is the word I was looking for, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it should already be ingrained in you because you should understand how the business works and how independent wrestling is a zero-margin operation and that everybody chips in. It's not hazing. It's not exploitation of labor. Get serious. You're not serious if you're saying those things. Okay? And I saw some independent wrestlers chime in too. Specifically Ben Bishop, who chimes in on everything for some reason. And Shazza McKenzie was the other one. And they both, I'm going to paraphrase both of them, and they both made the same basic point in that they said they saw both sides of it. Yes, you should probably help out at the show. Ben Bishop astutely pointed out, I thought, that he's like, but let's be honest, the only reason most people are helping out is because they want to get booked again. And I think that's fair. I look, the motivations, nobody, it's like the breakup.
Nobody wants
Vince
to pick
Vaughn.
up chairs. You're just doing it
It's that scene from the breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston, where she's like, I want you to want to do the dishes. And he's like, nobody wants to do dishes.
Right. You don't
Gary
go to your in-laws and go, God damn, I cannot wait to do those fucking dishes.
No, you're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. So I understand that standpoint. And, but where they both lost me was, well, but when you're a fly-in and they're bringing you in as a special talent, hold on, the kid is 19. I don't give a shit if he came from Siberia. Okay. And the other point Mackenzie made was, he's AJ Styles' son. He has such a pressure on him to perform and a legacy to live up to. I'm not moved by any of that because, again, listen, that knife cuts both ways. He's only on that show because he's AJ Styles'
He's only
son.
getting flown in because he's AJ's son.
And he's only getting flown in because he's AJ's son. So tough shit if there's a little extra pressure. You can't tell me that you still can't grab a couple chairs.
If there's too much pressure, you could still work rinky-dink indies in Georgia for the next 3 years.
Absolutely.
And then go to GCW when you're 22 and earn it on your own right and not, get GCW booking 7 matches into your career.
Thank you. You don't want the pressure of high-level indie bookings that pay actual money. No one's stopping you from working in front of 12 people in the fucking
swamps, the
Elks
stork
Lodge
infested swamps in Georgia. Yeah.
Right. So that means not, but here's the thing with the indie wrestlers like Bishop and McKenzie. They want to support Cannon in some way, but they also know they're going to have to share a locker room with this kid. And they also know they don't want to talk badly about AJ Styles' kid. It's awkward for them. So you could always choose to say nothing. That's always an option. You don't have to say a word. But they want to play both ends of the spectrum here. They want to say, all right, yeah, you should probably grab a chair. But then again, he is Avery Styles. This whole idea that it means something that he's Avery Styles really annoys me and has annoyed me all week. Yeah, we understand who his dad is, but it's like that absolves him from.
Well, here's the thing, and I think you kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier. If anything, because there's all those eyes on you and all that pressure on you, it's even more reason to just let people think that you're one of the guys. It's more reason to pick up one of those chairs and not bring that attention and that pressure and that, because by sitting there and vaping while everybody else is putting the ring together, people are saying, what's with this fucking entitled little prick over here? Just pick up some fucking chairs and then no one will say anything. But there's already, trust me, there's already guys that are sharing locker rooms with this kid saying, I can't believe this guy's already getting GCW bookings and indie, major indie bookings getting flying around.
Work hard to overcome that. Don't perpetuate it.
Yeah, exactly. It's even harder then and so the easiest thing to do is go around the locker room, introduce yourself, pick up some chairs, do as much as you can to let people say, hey, you know what? I had the wrong idea about this kid. He's actually a pretty good guy. You know what? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he's AJ's kid, and so he's getting some extra privileges because of that. But you know what? He's a pretty good kid. He was nice enough. Or that's so easy to do and so obvious to do. But if it makes it so much worse if you sit and pretend, oh, I'm flown in and I'm AJ Styles' kid, so I'm not touching a fucking thing until my time, in the ring, and then I'm leaving, and then it's all up to you. I mean, that is only going to incite more people to side eye you and think, this fucking little prick over here. So that's the opposite of what you should do. And people are seeming, I don't know why people seem to think that like, can you imagine in your real life, like would you ever, like the coach's son, think of this in the context of a high school football team, and the coach's son is the quarterback. If he didn't have to go to practice because, that's the coach's son and he's the quarterback, nobody would say, I understand. It's the coach's son, so he shouldn't have to go to practice. It's really hot today, so of course he shouldn't practice. He's the coach's son or whatever. I mean, that would be insane. That would not fly. It'd be ridiculed, and everybody would hate that kid, and they would hate the fucking coach for treating his kid like a little, baby. Like that would not fly. That would be seen as, and that's kind of what I guess other indie wrestlers are trying to, not a one-to-one, apples to apples comparison there. But again, like the idea that this is okay because your father is AJ Styles to not, I don't understand. My brain can't even comprehend how that could possibly be rational.
To me, this all comes down to AJ Styles. If he was instilling the proper values in this kid, this wouldn't be an issue.
Well, him saying right there, you don't invite me to your dinner, and I'm not going to do your dishes or whatever, lets you know all you need to know about the guy.
I mean, you're paying me to wrestle, not stack chairs. It's so it makes my stomach turn that he said that. That's just so gross. That's not how you handle it. Even if you think that's true, that's not how you handle it. Now, I will say this: should Eric Cannon have publicly blasted the kid on Twitter?
Probably not.
Probably not. But I understand why he did. Because he saw Natty praising this kid for paying dues, and he probably saw that tweet and said, oh, what the fuck? This kid did the opposite of paid dues when I worked with him, and he got his Twitter fingers out and he did it. Now, that's probably a situation where you type out the tweet, pull out your phone, put the 5-minute timer on and see how you feel 5 minutes from then before you send it out, right? And then maybe you think better of it and go, it's just not worth it. But I could see why he felt compelled to push back on that, because this kid was such a little shit at the show that he couldn't take it. But yes, he probably shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, if Avery Styles would have grabbed a chair or two, there's nothing to tweet about. Then Eric Cannon has nothing to tweet about if he just would have fucking grabbed a chair. No one's asking him to set the whole ring up or break the whole ring down or just just grab a chair. Then we're not here to begin with. So I don't know. I am, to me, the person who comes across worst by a mile in this is AJ Styles. I lost a lot of respect for AJ Styles with the way.
Yeah, I always thought of him as a more, a little bit smarter guy, but apparently, I don't know. He's
You thought of AJ Styles as a smarter guy?
I thought of him as a guy who smarter in the wrestling context. I don't think he's like a savant or anything, but I thought a guy who understood the fucking business.
Yeah.
I understood wrestling and would understand how that could possibly look and just it's I saw. Did you see Moose's tweet? Some people were talking about Moose's tweet. What did
another of the best and brightest? What did he have to say?
Here we go. All right. I did see this one. Okay, it says, "Quote, bro, relax. It's an indie show. The whole pay your dues at an indie show thing is dumb. Different story if this was a TV company. We're talking about a freaking indie show. A 20-year indie vet giving advice to the kid is one of the greatest to do it in any professional level is kind of laughable."
What does he mean it's different if it's a TV company? Nobody sets up the ring.
No, that's the opposite. It's even less.
They can hire. They can afford a crew to hire to do that. Yeah, he's just not. It's Moose. What do you want me to say?
Lost. Fucking lost.
Who cares what Moose? Moose.
I would never. Yeah, that exactly the thing. Like you're saying, if it's a TV company, they probably have union guys that are putting the fucking ring together and setting the chairs up. That's even more. You don't have to do that. People are being paid salary to put the chairs up. They're fine.
By the way, people on high-level shows help out too. So that's not even true.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Bobby Fish talking about every time he worked the Noah show, even once he was established, how he helped put up and tear down the ring. And he talked about how some of the veteran Noah home roster guys would come up to him and say, like, Bobby-san, why you do that? You don't have to. And he says, no, I just want to help out. It's like, so, someone was tweeting out pictures of Charles Robinson, who to this day puts up and tears down the ring with the crew on WWE shows. So, that's not even true. No one's expecting you to do it on a major league level, but you can see that it's instilled in some of these guys. Hey, this is what you do. This is a business where everybody helps each other out. What is the harm in helping each other out? That's what this really comes down to. Like, what is the harm in that? It just comes down to just do the right thing, man. Be a good person. Be a decent person to the other people you're working with. And AJ to me looks the word. We haven't heard from Avery Styles. He might feel bad about it for all I know. But I know AJ Styles comes across worse than anybody. The indie wrestlers, they're playing both sides. They have to, be political about it. Cody's statement was pretty fucking dumb. But AJ just comes off like a dipshit. He comes off like a shithead. Like a total shithead. It's very disappointing. I don't know. I just don't see what the big deal is. I have to wrap up my end of it. I'll go where I started with the Brian Alvarez anecdote. I would have his attitude. Maybe I'm not going there as a 30-year vet thinking that they want me to tear down the ring. But if they ask me to help, I'm just going to help. Because it's what you do when somebody asks you for help. You don't pull out your communist manifesto and start citing fucking unpaid labor. Like come on, grow up. Grow up is what I would say to a lot of people in this story.
So one thing I did want to address, and then we can move on, is AJ talked about it. He was going back and forth. And again, he should have also just logged off, but he didn't. And he was talking about, he says, quote, it's funny, as I was talking to at Book It Gabe, that's Gabe Sapolsky, of course, literally tonight, he talked about the ring crew that Ring of Honor used. That's why we never had to set up or break down the ring, not even the chairs. Want to guess the crew that GCW hired to do that? Now, first off, I don't know what Gabe told AJ,
right?
But the wrestlers were the ring. I've watched the wrestlers many times. Many of them.
Even if that wasn't the case,
set up the ring.
And Gabe and Carrie hired a ring crew. Well, that's something different. This show didn't have a hired ring crew, or it did. What's he saying? I
guess he's saying that they did hire a ring crew. But here's the thing: just pick up some fucking chairs. They probably had somebody set the ring up. They're not asking him to set the ring up. They're asking him to pick up some fucking chairs. And again, I don't know what the conversation was with Gabe. I went to many Gabe Sapolsky booked Ring of Honor shows. Andy Right Leg Ridge was running the fucking spotlights and helping put the ring down.
Yeah,
fucking Alex Sugarfoot Payne. Yeah. Those guys, the trainees, the guys coming up were absolutely 100% doing things in and around that show. They'd do the white balance of the cameras. They'd do the spotlights. They'd wipe down the ring when it was done. I saw them pick up chairs afterwards. I've seen them take down ring ropes. I saw them in between matches tighten the ropes. So did they build? Did they fucking put the boards in? I don't know if they put the boards in, but they absolutely fucking helped. I mean, for Gabe to... Now, was Bryan Danielson coming out and wiping down the turnbuckles? No, of course not. In 2006, Bryan Danielson wasn't coming out and wiping down the ring. But the 19-year-old kids that were ROH trainees absolutely were. That whole crew that we're talking about were.
I am willing to bet if Gabe Sapolsky approached 2006 Bryan Danielson and said, Bryan, we're running behind. Can you help me with something?
Absolutely.
Bryan Danielson would trip over himself to help.
Absolutely.
Now, AJ Styles, apparently not.
Apparently not.
And that tells me all I need to know about AJ Styles. It tells me all I need to know about the man.
And again, another thing. Somebody noted in the chat room, I forgot to mention that. There was literally a team called the Ring Crew Express that wrestled in Ring of Honor.
Correct. So. These were wrestlers, AJ. These were wrestlers. Yeah, I think he's confused. I think that maybe what Gabe told him was, hey, look, we had a young boy crew of guys who were trainees who did these things.
I bet they had a person that set the ring. I'm sure they had a guy that set the ring up. Like, I go to indie shows now, and a lot of the shows in Chicago, they use the same ring. Like, a lot of guys use the same ring, and it's a guy's ring, and he's got a little crew. He owns the ring, and he's got a crew of like 3 or 4 guys that are the guys that will set the ring up, but they'll have guys go out there and wipe things down. They'll have guys go in there. And that's the big difference that I think people, for some reason, couldn't handle, is that no one is asking this guy to find a toolbox somewhere in the building and take the ring apart by himself. Like, that's not at all what anybody was saying.
Listen, all of this is immaterial to me. If someone asks you to help out, why can't you
just
help
fucking
out? This is really all
out.
it comes down to.
Right. Be a decent person. Help out.
If I go to my sister-in-law's house next weekend and she asks me to help set up some lawn chairs, I'm not going to turn to her and say, first I got to watch my niece while you take a shower. Now I got to set up the lawn chairs. I'm just going to grab
yikes.
Yeah. I'm just going to grab a fucking lawn chair and stick it in the yard. What's the big deal? Oh, I guess we should address the NXT picture. I just thought of that. Did you see the NXT picture?
I don't know if I did.
Oh, baby, let me tell you all about it, Rich Craich. You're going to get all upset. So Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, God. Stop. I don't want to know anymore.
So he put out a long-winded tweet basically echoing. His tweet was echoing what Cody said. Oh, if you grew up with your dad on the road, you don't know what we went through. We already paid our dues, So then the next day or whatever. I know, seriously. And then the next day, they take a picture in the back of NXT. You got Dean Malenko's kid, Brian Pillman Jr., Avery Styles, Brooks Jensen, the son of, I think, Bull Buchanan.
Bull Buchanan,
right?
yeah.
There was another female wrestler. I don't remember.
Was it Rey Mysterio's daughter?
Yes, it was Mysterio's daughter.
Aaliyah. Who's joined the PC.
Finley's other kid, Brogan Finley or Uriah, whatever the fuck.
Uriah Connors.
Yeah, I might be missing one or two. And the caption on the picture from Pillman was, "We already set up the chairs," and they're giving the finger to the camera.
Oh, my God.
Is that not the most eye-rolling, cringy fucking shit that you'd ever... I mean, it's so cringe. It's so fucking cringe.
Do these people... You mentioned a little bit earlier. Look, I am sympathetic to the life of a wrestler, but for God's sakes, you're not the only people that lived with a father who was not home, or parents who weren't home, who was not away on, or who was away on business, or you didn't see ever. I mean, how many people do you know growing up? I'm sure you probably dealt with this too. Yeah. I was lucky enough that both my parents usually worked mostly 9 to 5s, but not all the time. There were times where I'd come home from school and have to take myself to baseball practice. I would have to make my own dinner when I was, young or whatever, because my dad had to work late, or my mom was working second, third shifts or whatever. Like, I never had the thing. I knew people growing up where dad worked during the day, mom worked at night. He never saw his parents together except maybe on the weekends, and they were fucking exhausted the entire time. Or they'd go away. His dad would go away. Hell, my dad grew up in the fucking trucking business. You want to talk about a tough life for children? Talk to the son of a trucker.
Son of a trucker.
Yeah, they're never home. Long haul truckers, especially. They're making a lot of money. They're out there weeks, months on end, eating garbage food, dying young because they are just out doing whatever they can to support their family and support their children. So fuck off with this, like, the wrestlers are the only people that have ever had, like, because that's kind of what you're saying, implying there is that, like, oh, we don't need to do anything because, like, we had a tough upbringing. Like, Aaliyah Gutierrez had a tough upbringing. Fuck off.
Listen, yeah, I'm not gonna argue with sons and daughters of guys who died when they were 35. All right, I'm sure Brian Pillman's youth was not fun. Avery Styles lived a charmed fucking life.
right. Aaliyah Gutierrez is okay. Things are fine for Aaliyah.
This kid grew up in a palatial estate in Georgia. I mean, come on. Give me a break. Give me a break. He can't pick up chairs because unfortunately his dad was a millionaire. Is this why he can't pick up chairs? Right. Is this what we're saying? Right. It's crazy what these people are coming up with.
Again, different generations too. Because I'm slightly sympathetic, of course, to Brian Pillman. I mean, he's Brian Pillman Jr. Because given that his dad,
and let's
I
be
am
fair,
not sympathetic to Avery Styles' upbringing
not after the
with
way I
a
heard
millionaire
AJ
father.
Yeah, not the way I heard AJ just talk. And now, to be fair, Pillman could be that tweet could have been partially in gimmick. Okay, with him, who knows? I don't.
Yeah, he's been out of touch for a while because we always talk about that famous story when he was in MLW, and he was doing an interview one time. And he was talking about how hard it was to, get started in wrestling. And he's like, when I decided to get started with wrestling, like, I didn't even know where to turn. So, like, I reached out. I called, I called Stone Cold Steve Austin. I called Lance Storm. And I was like, I had to really, pull myself up by the bootstraps and figure out how to do this. And it's like, Brian, you realize that 99% of people that are trying to become professional wrestlers can't just call Stone Cold Steve Austin and Lance Storm and say, hey, how do I start? Like, and he was trying, like, with Ernest. Remember that in Ernest? He was talking about, how hard it was to figure out how to get a start in this business. And, like, how he had to really, scratch and claw to find a spot in the business as Brian Pillman's son or whatever. So I called Stone Cold and I called Lance Storm and I called. Yeah. It's like, dude, you don't understand what you sound like here.
You have the biggest star in the business and the most well-renowned trainer in the business in your phone. I'm sure it was very difficult for you to get started in pro wrestling. Maybe he had to scroll through a lot of different Steves in his in his phone.
Williams, is this the right one?
Yeah. Right. Is that Steve Williams from high school or is that Stone Cold?
Right.
The hardships that I had to face to get started in this business. Yeah, I mean, and listen, another thing. Not only would I bet everything that Bryan Danielson would help out Gabe Sapolsky if asked in 2006. I would also bet everything that Brogan Finley has stacked a chair or two in his life. Oh, yeah. I mean,
you think Fitz going to let him not stack a chair? Yeah. No.
Yeah, this is all such fucking nonsense, and a lot of it is people publicly not wanting to cross AJ Styles, a big major international star, and a lot of it is that you can see, like, when you read the Ben Bishop and Shazza McKenzie tweets, that they want to say one thing and they kind of do, but then they have to couch it by the end of the tweet.
Well, and they know this guy's going to be a staple in the places they want to work for the next couple years until he gets signed to NXT.
Absolutely. They're gonna share locker rooms with him, and I do not mean this as any disrespect to Ben Bishop or Shazza McKenzie. I really don't, what I'm about to say. I mean no disrespect with the next thing I'm going to say. They both know that Avery Styles is going to be a much bigger star than both of them in like 6 months. So what do you think they're going to say? They're going to be sharing a locker room with a guy who's going to be headlining over them. So they're going to couch it on top of the fact that he's AJ Styles' kid. And you don't want that, because I'm sure that Ben Bishop and Shazza McKenzie still have the dream. You think they want to cross AJ Styles and have him remember their name as the people who, piled on his kid when he didn't stack some chairs? So you can't really take what these indie wrestlers are saying, 100% either, like it's their true real thoughts, because they obviously have motive. Look, they're out there. And again, I don't mean that in a disrespect. Shazza McKenzie's out there making a living in a new country as an independent pro wrestler. Good for her. But she understands where the situation here. She knows this kid's going to be headlining over her in 6 months.
And Ben Bishop was just, I think he was at a WWE tryout like last month or whatever. So, yeah,
or whatever, last year, maybe something. I don't think he was. No, Josh Bishop was at the recent one.
Oh, that's right. Ben did one a couple years ago.
Ben did one a few years ago. Yeah. But you get the idea. Like, they have to work with the kid. but they're so online, they feel like they have to say something, and they do kind of, and they kind of feel
By
like
the way,
it is
nobody
bullshit.
has to say anything for the
You
record.
don't have to say something. Yes. You don't always, look, you don't have to have an opinion on everything. Take it from me. You don't have to have an opinion on everything. You don't. But Ben Bishop's got to have an opinion on everything. That's
his brand. Yeah, his brand is.
Yeah, but that picture is just, look, I sincerely hope that Pillman and the rest of that gang, that was them trying to take advantage of a situation as part of their work, because otherwise that is so cringe. It's fucking beyond cringe to tweet something out like that. And Cody, you're full of shit. Cody, you're completely full of shit, because if you felt what you tweeted, you wouldn't have had that broom in the picture to begin with. But you had the broom in your hand, Cody. Tell people why you had the broom in your hand. That's what I would challenge Cody to do if he was on this show right now, trying to defend this garbage. I'd say, all right, Cody, this is very simple. Tell me why you had that broom in your hand then, if you already stacked the fucking chairs. And you know what he would say? Oh, well, I'm just helping out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
Thank you. Because it's the right thing to do.
No further questions. Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah.
Because you didn't go to that show with the mindset of an entitled prick who didn't have to grab a broom, and no one asked you to grab the. I guarantee you, nobody asked Cody to grab the broom either. I guarantee he grabbed that broom on his own. So he's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
That was good stuff there. I like that. That was a good segment. Anything else on this? Have you seen the kid work yet, or no?
I didn't see the match. No.
I've seen the Mathers match. That's the one that he had in Minneapolis. I think I watched that one. He's all right. He's good. He's good for 19. He's good. I mean, he's obviously naturally gifted.
I think he has under 5 matches.
Okay. So I think I saw the Mathers match then. I was watching it. I think it was on. It's on YouTube.
Someone pretty good.
Yeah. Mathers made him look good. There was a couple sloppy spots. The problem that he's doing what a lot of modern wrestlers do, and he's doing spot. He's more of a spot guy. Like, and that's just what wrestling is now. It's like one spot to another spot to another spot or to another spot. Like it's the fundamentals aren't really there. And there's a lot of times where he'll fuck something. It doesn't look like natural. It doesn't look like a guy who's simulating a fight or whatever. But we've long lost that in wrestling. But no, he's solid for 19. He's definitely the goods for sure. So he'll be very good. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be pretty good if he sticks with this and doesn't get hurt or whatever. So Mathers has gotten really good though. Mathers is the right guy to be in the ring with.
If you were 19 years old and the son of a wrestling legend, and you knew you were going to get fast tracked to the major leagues sooner than later, wouldn't you go the extra mile to not be perceived as a douchebag?
I talked about that a couple minutes ago. Absolutely.
Yeah, you'd go the extra mile to not get that reputation.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy that would show that if I were that, I mean, I would be so nervous to enter a locker room with people that have been paying their dues for decades and feel like they haven't gotten anything, and I have everything, and I'm on this show with 5 matches in or whatever. Dude, I'd be the guy. I'd be like what Cody was doing when he was on the Indies and fucking buying pizzas for everybody and doing whatever I could.
Grabbing a fucking broom.
Yeah, I would do everything I could. Like I said, I'd go around and make sure that everybody at least thinks, because I care a lot about what people think, and maybe Avery doesn't clearly. But no, I'd be so nervous. Where do you learn that from? Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Crazy.
But yeah, there you go. That is the Avery Styles story. So I don't know if it's going to end. I don't know if it's going to get worse. All I'll say is that I'll say, even though we talk for 90 minutes, but I'll sign off, I guess, on this topic by saying that everything that I've ever heard about Eric Cannon is that he's a pretty mild-mannered guy. Every interaction I've had with Eric Cannon has been pretty mild-mannered. So I imagine that this pissed him off a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I bet he was pissed off that night.
The tweet pissed him off.
Yeah, I think he was pissed off that night and was just like, fucking entitled little prick or whatever. And then he gets on his phone, he's in bed or whatever, and he sees Natty Neidhart being like, oh, I'm so glad he paid his dues. It was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, the tweet pissed him off.
Yeah,
that's
it's like,
totally
I can't
what
let this stand. I can't let this stand.
He had to be like, I can't let people think that this kid is respectful.
Right, but I've seen some people call him like a bitter, entitled. Like, that's not at all what Eric Cannon is. Eric Cannon is, I think, pretty happy with how things, and he, runs First Wrestling now in Minneapolis. He, he's a promoter now. So everything I've heard about the guy is he's a very mild-mannered, a pretty good dude. I don't think he's just out there with his arms crossed waiting to get mad about everything that happens in and around wrestling. It's not him, but this got him a little angry.
He shouldn't have fired it off. I mean, look, this was one of those things that never would have come out if Natty. Now, it's not Natty's fault. I'm not blaming her. But if she doesn't make that tweet, none of us are even discussing this or know anything about this. And Avery Styles just has a reputation within the walls of the industry of being entitled or whatever. It never would have gone public. But I think that annoyed him to see him painted that way when he had a completely different experience. And it just annoyed him. And he's like, I get it. Again, I agree that maybe he shouldn't have tweeted it, but I understand why he did.
Yeah, for sure.
And the bottom line is, if the kid would have just grabbed a chair, there'd be nothing to tweet.
All right, let's move on to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to start off first, since we're going to be previewing the two nights in Sumo Hall, August 15th, August 16th. There's not a lot there. We know the semifinal matches. Obviously, we'll find out the final after those. But the big thing for me on these August 15th shows is that this will be the Hiroyoshi Tenzan retirement exhibition match. Him versus Kojima, which is the exact perfect opponent for Tenzan to retire with. But Tenzan versus Kojima. It's a 5 minute. Is it one of these 5 minute gimmicks, right? 5 minute exhibition match or something like that. Is it 5 minutes, or are they just calling it an exhibition match? I forget if
I don't know the length. They're calling it an exhibition match. I don't know. I could check the New Japan site.
Okay, yeah, I forget if they. In my head, it's like a strict time limit or whatever, but maybe that's not the case. Not that I think Tenzan can really go more than 5 minutes at this point. I mean, he hasn't wrestled in since April of 2015 or 2025 or whatever, and wasn't really much of a worker at that point.
5 minute limit retirement match.
Yeah, okay.
5 minute limit exhibition retirement match.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it kind of sucks that's how he's got to go.
The best. I don't know. That's for the best because
the way he's working these days.
I mean, the last 5 years of his career, his one ankle was pointing in the wrong direction. And obviously, he hasn't taken a bump in over a year. He's lost a considerable amount of weight, which is probably a good thing because he's probably doesn't feel like he needs to look like a wrestler anymore. You know what I mean? I suspect that it would probably be ugly if he tried to go out there and have like a full-on real match. So I personally think the 5 minute limit is probably a good thing.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, in the state of his ankles or whatever, with both of them pointing the opposite directions or whatever, it's pretty rough. But I want to talk a little bit about the career of Hiroyoshi Tenzan, because he's signing off here. And it's kind of happening. It's it doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal to the outside wrestling world. I'm sure many people. I mean, how many other places are going to be talking about the retirement of Tenzan? After this weekend, who's talking about it in the build up? Like, no one's. He's going to kind of retire.
Can I put someone over?
Sure.
The Alan just did a podcast with Zellner, so check out the Dr. Keith Presents show for some Tenzan.
Yeah, PW Torch. I'll have to put the link there. I got to listen to that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure that, and they're going to do a better job than we are right here, because I'm not going to do a very, very long segment here about Tenzan.
Doing like 2 hours on
Yeah. Those are the right guys to do it. And that's kind of my point about Tenzan. And I wanted to bring up a larger point about the way that New Japan and this entire generation of legends that are going to retire from New Japan Pro Wrestling, Yuji Nagata and Satoshi Kojima soon after that, and then a couple of guys that the last guys that are still kind of hanging on there in New Japan from that previous generation. Oh God, 2-3 generations ago now. And I think one of the big issues with these guys when they're retiring or going to retire, or is I think New Japan World's great. Obviously, it's great to be able to watch live New Japan shows. It's a fantastic service to watch live shows. The idea that we could just watch these G1 we could just watch every single G1. You know what I mean? Every single show that New Japan puts on, we can watch live. Like, that's really cool. We can watch anytime we want, on demand, whatever. But one of the big issues with that is it keeps everything in that one little universe. Everything is stuck on New Japan World. And we know that, New Japan in the past has been very litigious about, people tweeting stuff out of videos or GIFs or whatever. TV Asahi is crazy about it too. New Japan doesn't upload a lot of stuff to YouTube. So there's going to be guys that retire. And to test this out, I looked for Tenzan here. There's going to be people that retire, and you're not going to be able to watch like anything from the peak of their career unless you subscribe to New Japan World and know how to use their search function and know how to navigate through the site and all that sort of stuff. And that fucking sucks. Like, if you look up Hiroyoshi Tenzan on YouTube right now, you get one New Japan match. You get some random grainy match against Hiroshi Tanahashi. I think it's either a G1 final or something like that. I think it might be a G1 final, maybe for the U30 title. I forget, whatever. and then like a bunch of WCW worldwide matches with Tenzan. And that's it. Like that's his legacy online for most people. Like, you know, we do these when people retire or when people die, and we do these, you know, obituary shows. We'll say, oh yeah, you can go on YouTube and watch this match and that match and that match. You should watch this. You should watch that. And it's like a lot of times it's a lot easier to access these people. When people retire from All Japan, it's going to be a lot easier to access stuff from All Japan because a lot of that stuff is available. The prime peak days of all those All Japan guys is available. A lot of Noah stuff is still available on YouTube. But New Japan, by their own doing, has gotten a lot of that stuff off of everywhere but New Japan World. And I think that kind of sucks for someone like a Tenzan who's going to retire. And it's like, I can't tell you. I mean, like, not that I think Tenzan's like this amazing, great worker that I have like 1,000 matches that I want you to watch or whatever, but you really can't watch any of his like prime stuff without subscribing to New Japan World. And it feels like that's going to be, you know, there's not going to be gifts tweeted out. There's not going to be anything. He's just going to kind of retire. And it's just like a lot of stuff in New Japan feels like it just happens in this vacuum. And then it just kind of,
well, is New Japan putting anything out for free on New Japan World this week?
For Tenzan, I don't know.
They haven't yet because I've been obviously covering the G1 and
let me check.
Put out a couple free. There's a couple free. They're putting out 3 or 4 free G1 matches, but there's nothing else in the free section right now, I don't think. While you're looking that up, he does have probably more legendary matches than people think. You know, it's especially if you're a newer fan, if you only jumped in on New Japan during the Bushi Road era.
Okay, there's two. There's two. Sorry to interrupt here. Free Hiroyoshi Tenzan best matches until August 15th. So for the next 2 days, you can watch the G1 2006 finals between Tenzan and Kojima. Yeah. And you can watch Machine Gunka and Giant Bernard versus Kojima and Tenzan from Wrestle Kingdom. I forget. And that's it.
Those would not be my two choices, but
and that's all. That's all you get from the next 2 days. You can watch those two for free.
Look, I think when I think about, I understand the point you're making. Yeah, it's a shame. If people want to dig, the ones that come to mind for me, obviously his career, and I talked about this on one of the G1. Maybe it was a Flagship Plus. I don't remember, but I talked about this behind the paywall recently when I was talking about his retirement. You know, Tenzan had a really great career. I think if there was such a thing as a New Japan Hall of Fame, he's an absolute stone cold lock. You don't even think about it. You put him in it the second he retires.
Of course, yeah.
He's a borderline pro wrestling Hall of Famer. Like, we always talk about how Tenkoji's on the ballot, but we think both of them would do better if you split them up, right? I think they both have reasonable cases for something like the Observer Hall of Fame as singles wrestlers when the tag team is an addition to their resume. But he's an absolute New Japan legend. You know, not at the level of like Inoki or Tanahashi, but the next level. I'd put him right on that next tier. He's not on the Inoki Tanahashi tier, but he's on that next tier, not far behind. And you know, he's got more legendary matches that unfortunately the time period that they happened in, and you have pointed this out by what you had to say, there's not a lot of footage, free and easily accessible footage floating around from when he was a really big deal.
Think of the young generation of wrestling fans, like the people that know ball, the people that were around at that time. And I'm not including myself in this. I'm not. I jumped on New Japan very late. But your Allens, your Chris Zellners, you know, those sort of people, Mike Sempervive, Adam Summers, those guys that were in the weeds, your Zach Arnolds, like those dudes who were in the weeds, you know, doing mega uploads, you know, 15 mega upload files or whatever. Watch this shit. Those are the people that are going to understand Hiroyoshi Tenzan's, you know, impact and how good he was. The new generation of wrestling fans, if you're 30 years and younger, you have very little idea of what this guy, and it's not like you can really go out without a little bit of work and find his guy's catalog. So Liger's a legend. Everybody knows Liger. That's not going to be a problem. You know, Hiroshi Tanahashi, we all lived through, you know, Tanahashi's prime. You know, we all, everybody that started jumping on this Japanese wrestling bandwagon, they all knew, you know, what Hiroshi I'm mixing the two up. Hiroshi Tanahashi was all about and how great he was or whatever. There's a very small window of people that really understand about Tenzan. And to me, that's really sad because I feel like he's going to retire and it's going to be like, and he's just going to move on. And people are going to shrug. And most people are never going to think about him ever again, or ever go back and watch any of his old stuff, and that kind of sucks.
From when he was really good.
Yeah.
It again, I just think there's a dearth of easily available footage from that era, and that's the problem from his era. He will always be intrinsically linked to Satoshi Kojima because they were great rivals and obviously great tag team partners. Their careers are going to be tied at the hip forever. That's why he's retiring against Satoshi Kojima. We're going to talk later. We're going to talk about a Kenta versus Marufuji match, which again, those two guys linked forever. Same here with Tenzan and Kojima. And Tenzan, one of his most legendary matches, that if you could find it, is that match where Kojima leaves New Japan for All Japan during the height of Inokiism. He said, I'm not fucking with any of this shit. You're not putting me in there, Mirko Krokop. No, thank you. Becomes a huge star in All Japan. Helps them have a nice little, several year period. After Inokiism flames out, New Japan basically hat in hand begged Kojima to come back and help them out. They built up this big match with Tenzan, and that's that legendary 60-minute match that they had where Tenzan, they do the finish where Tenzan just collapses in exhaustion, like with the bad back or whatever. I mean, that's an all-time match. That's an all-time New Japan match, where his former partner and rival comes back representing All Japan. I believe it was title for title, in fact, that 2005 match. You have the Tenzan and Chono versus Nakanishi and Nishimura, the 60-minute draw.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate all-time great match. You have the Tenzan G1 final against Jun Akiyama. Okay? Tenzan has a sneaky resume.
Oh, that Akiyama match is fucking great. Yeah. Man, is that one's is that even on New Japan World?
I have no idea. I haven't seen that match in eons.
Yeah,
I couldn't
let me see if that one's
you.
even on there.
It's as you look that up, I mean, but this was, all of these matches are like in the mid-aughts. And if you look around YouTube, it is. Okay, perfect. You still got to be behind a paywall, which is your point. But this mid-aughts New Japan, it's just not out there. It's not out there in, at all. That period is just a rough period. Not just for New Japan, by the way, for most Japanese wrestling of that period. Do this if you're, as just a intellectual exercise. I don't know. Is any of Kojima's prime All Japan stuff on YouTube? I don't think it
was last time I checked. Let me see if it's still up there. But yeah, last time I checked, a lot of that stuff is still up there because Gaora TV was uploading a lot of the Kojima stuff for a while. So yes,
there's official uploads of it.
From last time I remember checking, yes, there is a bunch up there. Let's see. There's Kojima versus Minoru Suzuki from 2007. There's Taiyo Kiya versus Satoshi Kojima. There is less than I remember. There's Satoshi Kojima versus Jamal. So if you want that, you got that.
It's a rough period, man.
Yeah, there's not as much as I remember there being, unfortunately. I do remember there and that was there's Kojima versus Tanahashi from the 2008 Champion Carnival. So there's a good amount.
Smattering.
There's not Kojima versus Kawada from All Japan. That's there. Champion Carnival final with Kojima versus Keiji Muto is up there. So there's certainly more of that than there is anything of Tenzan. But
New Japan's hard, man.
No, it's rough. Yeah.
But yeah, there are matches where this guy was great. There's legendary matches involving this guy. And I think I agree with your overall point that his retirement's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. And I do think it's for that reason. It's maybe a lot of fans who came in 2012-ish, 2013-ish, even later. He was already kind of washed up by then. That's around the time after Kojima lost the IWGP title to Tanahashi in 2011. Wasn't that Wrestle Kingdom 2011?
Yeah.
Kojima loses to Tanahashi. Tanahashi has the year-long run that helps rebuild the company in 2011. And then they immediately move Kojima back into the tag team with Tenzan. And that's when Tenkoji reforms. And then they have their, I guess you'd call it second big run as a team. But at that point, they're both older guys, and they're both not who they were. Well, Tenzan wasn't any. Kojima was still very good. Kojima hasn't slowed down until like the last couple of years. He was good up until a couple of years ago. Tenzan had already slowed down by that point. And Tenkoji, even though they won the IWGP tag titles another 6 or 7 times or whatever, that endless series against Killer Elite Squad and a lot of the NWA tag team stuff at that time that was woven into it, that they were a mid-card act at that point. The first time around, that tag team worked on top a decent amount. You know, that's why they're on the Hall of Fame ballot. They were a legit top team in the business, not Hall of Fame worthy in my eyes. That second run during the Bushiroad era, that wasn't the case. They were just a mid-card act. And Tenzan just wasn't. So a lot of the point I'm getting to is a lot of fans who jumped in during that era, they just saw Tenzan as one of the older guys who was winding down, you know, and people haven't seen some of these matches that we've brought up. And you're right, because they're so hard to find, or you can't find them, or they're paywalled. It's unfortunate that people probably won't see them, you know, so I think you make a good point.
Yeah, it just bothered me. And it was something I was just kind of surprised that, I was just kind of surprised that there was, as we're getting closer and closer to it, it's just, I didn't see any discussion about it. And then, you know, I saw Alan and he was going to bring on Chris Zellner. I was like, yeah, that's the perfect 2 guys, you know, to talk about Hiroyoshi Tenzan. Yeah. And they're going to do a fantastic job. And I'm definitely going to listen to that. PW Torch, make sure you're a VIP member, PW Torch, listen to that one. But, it's just, it made me think, man, he's going to retire, and everybody that's not in that generation of fans is just going to,
they're not going to get it.
They're not going to get it. They're just not going to understand what this guy, I mean, that's going to be an important show for people to listen to.
You went back and watched a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
But think if you didn't. Like,
no, if I didn't, and I only knew him from what I watched in real time, I would think the guy's a fucking zilch that can't work.
You know, I recall, you can correct me, didn't you do a big G1 final series?
Yes.
And you must have come across 3
grade
or 4
1,
matches.
yeah. So I watched all his G1 finals, and I did a Wrestle Kingdom main event series, Kings of the Tokyo Dome or whatever. So I watched them all in that as well. So yeah, because he had several Wrestle Kingdom main events and obviously several G1 main events.
G1
too,
finals, because he won the G1 in 08. No. He won the G1 in not 08. Around that time. When did he win the G1s? 06?
06, I want to say. Off the top of my head, I'll try to correct that here.
Early to mid-aughts, he won a bunch of G1s, didn't he? He won...
yeah.
He won... you watched them more recently than me. Probably like 04-ish. 04, 03. I think 08's a little late. I don't think he won it in 08.
Yeah, let me see here. Let's go to G1, grade 1 Climax here. He won 2003, 2004, and 2006.
There you go. Yeah, 08 was a little late. He wouldn't have been winning one.
He was a semifinalist in that one, but yeah, he didn't. That was Goto. Goto won that one.
So he won 3. Did he lose any finals? I don't know off the top of my head.
He 1997 actually. He was in the G1 finals in 1997, pretty early in it, before he would go to WCW on his excursion. He lost to Kensuke Sasaki.
So I mean, right there, you went back and watched every G1 final 10 years ago or something. And then obviously you've seen everyone since then. So you're someone who you weren't trading tapes and you weren't in it like the people you named, but you went back and watched every G1 final for a project, and you've seen every one since then. You know what I mean? So it's like, but someone in your shoes who wasn't doing something like this, they don't know anything about Tenzan, which speaks to your point. Prime Tenzan. They don't know anything about Prime Tenzan. So hopefully this discussion for some of our listeners, maybe they'll go seek out some of these matches that we threw out there. Maybe they'll go listen to Alan's show at Zellner. Maybe they'll just go try to explore on their own, because that's a fair point. I mean, it is. Now listen, this show sold out weeks ago. So it's a big deal in Japan. These retirement shows are money. I mean, they work everywhere. I mean, no matter who it is, like you do a retirement show, people are buying tickets to that shit. And this show sold out before the G1 final. I don't even know if the final sold out yet. I don't know if the next night is sold out yet, but I know the semifinal has long since been sold out. So they're going to have maybe a little bit of an old school crowd. I'm sure there's some people coming to that show who haven't come to New Japan shows in years, right? Because it's Tenzan.
Oh, yeah. People that were big time fans in 2008 or whatever and stopped watching or grew out of it or whatever, but have a soft spot for Tenzan.
I just clicked over to the chat, and there are people talking about a lot of great matches they remember, so that's good. Like, there are people in our chat who are sharing memories of watching this guy in his prime.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about our circle. I think our circle is pretty good.
Yeah.
I worry about anything that's not this circle, but I also worry about how much wrestling knowledge and how much wrestling people outside of, like how much, and the next generation coming up, how ambitious are they about watching and consuming as much as possible?
And how
from
are
as many
they
different
going to
places.
think of his legacy versus people who saw the great stuff? Yeah. He had a presence about him for sure in his prime. I mean, he looked like a badass. The hair
was awesome, and the
the
big
whole
guy,
look.
tall guy.
Yeah, and it's just he looked like a monster, almost like a movie monster. Like listen, he's no Tom Cruise. So in the face, he had that ugly heel face, and he had a definite aura and presence around him that he was an ass kicking motherfucker when he was in his prime. So, look, he's not my favorite worker of all time. He's probably not my favorite top 300 favorite workers of all time, but there's no question he had legendary matches. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and was notable in that promotion. Obviously,
slam dunk Hall of Famer
in their some of their darkest times or whatever, but obviously was still still deserves some credit. He unfortunately falls into the Yuji Nagata pile too, where it's like people are
worst
just
time to be a star.
Yeah, and Kojima, to his credit, realized that, bounced, and probably helped his legacy in a big way.
Absolutely helped it. Yeah,
because he went and had great matches for 8 years or whatever, and then came back and was like, okay, you guys done with this bullshit? All right, I'll come back now.
They begged him back. Believe me. They knew that they didn't have a lot of money matches on the table, and they knew that bringing back Kojima and doing that title for title deal with Tenzan was going to be one of the best things that they could put together at that time. And Kojima, in a lot of ways, graciously came back and did that. But of course he had to go over. So they found the creative way. They did that. Remember the finish, like his back gave out, Tenzan's back gave out or whatever. Exhaustion. He passed out. And that was title for title. And just to show you the amount of stroke that Kojima had at that time due to the state New Japan was in, he was the Triple Crown champ and the Invader, and he won the IWGP title in that match. Now they protected Tenzan from a fall. You weren't going to get everything. You weren't going to hit him with the Western Lariat.
Right. That's a lot.
And
That's asking a lot.
Your foot on his chest and pin him, But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show, and always in these things, the high ground wins. We know that. And it's crazy, but New Japan was definitely not in the high ground in that situation.
He also, I believe he's the founder of Great Bash Heel, right? I don't think he lasted very long as the leader of Great Bash Heel, but I think that is his unit.
It's something like that. Yeah, it was a messy history. With all, that rings a bell, though. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he founded Great Bash Heel. I don't know how long he was running it, but so that's. I'll be interested. Is it going to be really sad to watch him wrestle? Is it going to be cathartic to watch him wrestle? I don't know.
I think you're not watching something like that with critical eyes.
No,
it's going to stink. We know it's going to stink. Who cares? It's not like Muto going out there on his retirement tour. And he's like trying to have good matches.
Yeah, right. It's like, I don't think they're going to go. I don't think him and Kojima are in the back figuring out the best possible fight. The running it all back in 5 minutes. Yeah, I think they're just going to have a little fun, do some chops, do some.
Yeah, Tenzan won't be. He won't be waving off Jado. No time for chairs. I'm working out my match. None of that. It's not.
Right. Now, Tenzan doesn't have to pick up any fucking chairs. Zane J, pick up some fucking chairs.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, my God, these dweebs in America. Can you imagine if the Japanese wrestling culture, if they even had a sniff of the Japanese wrestling culture of fucking make us food, clean the fucking dojo. I mean, Jesus. And these guys are upset because somebody asked a guy to pick up 3 chairs.
Yeah, back in the day, they'd scrub down their balls.
Right.
Scrubbing their backs.
Right.
I don't know.
That might be too far. Now, for the record.
Now, listen, we got to evolve a little.
Right.
I don't think
we've moved past that a little bit. But
I don't think they need to be scrubbing the balls of their senpai.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be fluffing their senpais. But
right. But, you grab a fucking chair. But yes, Tenzan does not need to grab a chair.
No.
I mean, I once took a piss next to Tenzan in San Antonio, And he was standing there in his wrestling gear, presumably with his hog just hanging over the top of his tights, with no T-shirt and a cig hanging from his lips as he was standing at the urinal. So he's ripping a cig while he's taking a piss at the urinal. He had his wrestling tights on, but with sandals, and he had the cig hanging out of his mouth, and he took that piss, and then he ripped the cig and just marched out of that bathroom, and that's a real core memory of mine.
This is the NWA title match.
This was when
I forgot you went to the New Japan and New Jersey shows.
No, I didn't. I didn't go to.
No, the ones when they went to Texas.
These were the New Japan shows in joint New Japan shows with Texas with NWA Houston. With NWA Houston. So they did a show in Houston, and they did a show in San Antonio, and the crew they brought over was Tenzan, Liger, Gato, I can't remember who else, but yeah, the San Antonio show. I remember they got there late. They had the whole day. They wouldn't even open the doors. This minivan pulls up. The New Japan crew pours out of the van. Liger with just the one part of his mask, because he's got the part that covers his face.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had that on, and Kadani piled out of there because Kadani was at these shows
with his 24-pack of Diet Coke or whatever.
Yeah. Now those shows, that's kind of what blew up the relationship between the Bruce Tharp era of the NWA and New Japan, because I think Kadani was less than impressed with those two shows. And it kind of all spiraled and fell apart from there. But someone was hurt. Was it Kojima who got hurt and couldn't work those shows? And I was disappointed. I'm pretty sure it was, because I think Tenzan worked either singles matches or teamed with somebody else. But Tenzan. Yeah, someone in the chat saying they met Tenzan in San Antonio on the NWA show. That's the show. That was the NWA show in San Antonio. Gato wrestled the match on that show where he didn't take a single bump, and he was the most over New Japan wrestler on the show.
Yep.
He was so great on that show, and I think we reviewed it. That show has probably lost the time. No, maybe not. I think it was 2014.
Yeah, no, those might be around still.
But God, Gato was brilliant in that match, and Liger was over big, but because they held tryouts too, New Japan. They held tryouts on the Houston show. I do remember that, because I remember Ricky Starks tried out that day in Houston, and I remember talking to him about that and asking him how it went and everything. But I don't think they ran tryouts in San Antonio. No, they didn't, because they got there late. That's right, they got there late. The show was held up. So that's where I met Kadani. I met Kadani at the San Antonio show.
Yeah, and he was upset, or he was not upset, but he was curious on how you were watching New Japan.
Yeah, I had Sho Funaki translated for me. I grabbed Sho Funaki and asked him to translate, because he was just wandering around, because he lives in Sho Funaki at the time was in he has the training school in San Antonio.
Still, I think he's still out there, right?
I think, it might.
Yeah, because Jesse's works business shows all the time, so I think he's still out there.
Funaki, that's right. And so he was there, I guess, either helping out. I don't think he didn't wrestle on the show. And so he translated for me, and I explained to Kadani who I was and how I was watching New Japan on Ustream, because they were on Ustream at that time.
Yeah.
And so was Dragon Gate. Bro, we were paying like $40 per show to watch this shit.
There was that one G1 package that one year in 2013 or whatever. It was like $300 to watch all the G1 shows. And it's like, yes, please. I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah. And he asked me, he looked confused, and he was like, said whatever to Funaki. And Funaki's like, he doesn't understand what Ustream is. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm buying his shows on Ustream.
Is he making money on these, or what happened?
Right. Like, who's broadcasting it? He seemed confused by it. But then, like, Funaki said whatever. And then Kadani was going, oh, like nodding his head. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. But then it's the one and only mark pick I've ever taken in my life was with Kadani, because I was like, I got to take a picture with him.
With an office guy, with a Japanese office guy, for sure, yeah.
Honestly, the only reason I took it was to send it to you. Like, I didn't post it anywhere. You know how I am with pictures.
Yeah. I think he has a Coke in his hand, if I remember correctly. In that photo.
No, he's making a fist. He's making a fist. So he's making the fist because you got to make a fist when you're in a wrestler picture.
Yeah.
And I remember I sent you the picture, and you're like, it looks like he's smelling a fart. And I was like, well, because I probably did fart. I mean, so that might be why he has that look on his face. But yeah, that was the show. That's the same show. Yeah, that San Antonio show. And yeah, he was just, oh my God, he was double fisting the Diet Cokes. I mean, just non-fucking stop. Everyone, Monty Brown was at that show. Like, he showed up because he's close to Lance Archer, and Lance Archer worked the show. So Monty Brown came down. He was hanging out. Micah Taylor, remember Micah Taylor, who just passed away?
Yeah.
He worked the show. And then I spent probably a half hour talking to him after the show because he had just been on our show. So I introduced myself, and we had a long conversation. MVP was at that show as just hanging around. So when the New Japan crew came into town, that was the whole Texas fucking crew congregated at that one. I think Kojima was injured though and didn't work either shot. I don't even think they brought him over. But I tell you who was brought over as a young boy, Hiromu. Hiromu was the young boy on those shows. And he was doing all the young boy, like carrying all the bags and shit.
What? Why?
And for unpaid labor. Right. Unpaid labor.
Yikes.
Yeah. Oh, yikes, guys.
You should have wagged your finger at Kadani. Shame on you, sir.
Actually, you know what? It might not have been Hiromu. It might have been, no, I'm wrong. It was Despy, now that I think about it. Either way, it was Makami. That's Despy, right? Makami. Let me pull this up. I'm almost positive it was Despy. It wasn't Hiromu. A pre-El Desperado Despy doing the ring boy shit. And he may have even wrestled on the Houston show. I can't remember, though.
Shorter than I thought when I saw him in Vegas. Much shorter than I thought.
No, Despy's not a big guy at all.
Nah, very short.
Yeah. I mixed him up with Hiromu because they both went to CMLL for their... And in fact, now it's all coming together. He went straight to Mexico off of those two shows. That's what it was.
Oh, he got the flight, and they were like, all right, well, you're not that far. So
you're here.
Keep going.
So start driving, kid.
Right.
You know, Arena Mexico that way. You know,
Right.
that was it. Yeah. Man, a lot of memories. Shit. That,
there you go. See, when you leave the house, when you leave the house, you get some good memories.
Oh, listen to this guy.
We'll talk about the G1 here in a minute. I think I've told my pissing next to a wrestler story with Nigel McGuinness. One time I was in waiting in line to pee at a Ring of Honor show, and it's right before the main event. I think it's like Nigel versus Danielson or it's an awesome match. It's like, and all of a sudden Nigel walks in to the bathroom. Like there's a long line. He's looking around, and then in like I can't do the Nigel voice or whatever. But in the most British, most Nigel voice, he's like, "Hey, can I jump ahead of you guys? I'm up here in a minute." Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, sure." And he's pissing, and his song starts to play as he's pissing, and he's like, "Uh-oh." We're like, "Go, go, 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 go!" And he's like, "Oh, I better wash my hands though." Like, I can't do the Nigel voice. But in that little teeny voice that he's got, it's just so funny.
Yeah, meanwhile, Oasis hits, and he's still taking a leak.
Oh, I'd never forget him pissing. And then him going, "Whoa, is that my music?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Whoa." Like, fuck. So he did wash his hands. But then he ran out there, and it was so good to watch him,
Hey, listen.
A minute and a half later, walk out through that curtain like, like he's just
with his fucking iron.
Right.
I don't think Tenzan washed his hands.
No, well, you know what? You're gonna tell
he just
Tenzan to wash his hands
and marched right out of there.
Yeah, you're gonna tell that guy to wash his hands?
No.
With that dart in his mouth, yeah.
He wants to wrestle with his fucking dick skin hands. He can do that if he wants.
it's Hiroshi fucking Tenzan. What are you gonna say? So, yeah, good stuff. But all right, we have our semifinal set for the G1. Callum Newman versus Ryohei Oiwa in the one match, and Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura in the other match. So one of those four men will be your G1 36 champion.
One of those four men will be a first-time G1 champion.
Oh, it's true. Right. Yeah, my brain's Tsuji, but I forgot that Takeshita won it last year.
Face the facts.
Yeah.
That's a fact. We haven't done a face the facts in a long time.
Remember
face the facts?
I do.
Fucking, what the hell was his name?
Brian Myers.
Toy guy. Brian Myers. Face the facts. Yeah.
I do have to apologize
didn't
to
go
you
very far.
as well. I was gaslighting you last week, as the Wokes would say, about your impromptu news. I was like, that was never the name. You made that name up. And as luck would have it, on the Flagship 24/7 channel, like the day after we did that show last week, someone was listening. Suplex Berry, long time listener. You know, she's like, no, impromptu news. And I was like, he didn't call it impromptu. She's like, yes, he called it impromptu news. Like,
See?
what? Like, okay.
Thank you.
So in my brain, I never knew of it as being called impromptu news, but it was indeed called impromptu news, even from day one. So,
yeah, I accept your apology. That was in fact. Oh, and we did multiple segments.
I just never remember it being called impromptu news, but. I do remember Face the Facts, though. We used to always do I would always do the finger guns, too, every time I said Face the Facts.
I just did it now. Are you kidding me?
Face the Facts.
Face the Facts. That gimmick didn't go very far.
Worked for us. Yeah, we loved it, but...
Yeah.
The next generation of Joey Legend for Brian Myers did not work very well, yeah.
Speaking of impromptu news...
No way. What do you got?
The Democrats are trying to take over Texas because
playing a commercial.
What is that?
Political commercial started playing on the Democrats trying to take over Texas.
Don't take over Texas, goddammit.
Impromptu news, Rich Craich.
Yep.
This will be a short version. I have one news story for you to react to. Marty Scurll is in the news.
Oh, I saw this.
He's the new
fifth. I'm pleading the fifth already.
No. You know the game. You must react.
Okay.
I've been waiting all week for this. Marty Scurll is in the news. He is the new Heat Up champion. Rich Craich, your take on new Heat Up champion, Marty Scurll.
The villain, Marty Scurll. I will say, one thing that I found very interesting about this is when I did see the photo making the rounds of Marty Scurll holding up the Heat Up championship, I saw people being like, I wish this guy would just get out of ring. I hate this guy. And look, like, Marty's a bad dude, and I don't want Marty in. He's wrestling in Heat Up. Like, he's reached the bottom of the fucking barrel. I watched this guy wrestle in front of like 11 people at a fucking Las Vegas WrestleMania weekend show 2 years ago at that fucking tequila and the topless dancers, bottomless tequilas or whatever. Like, I saw him work on that show. He's working Heat Up. Like, he's as low as you can go. He lives a pathetic life. Just it's okay. It's fine. Don't get upset about him winning the Heat Up championship. Do you really care about Heat Up enough to get mad that Marty Scurll's the Heat Up champion? Like, I almost like it better that he hasn't just quit and gotten a job at the dock. I love that he's still trying to make it a go, but it's like the only places that'll hire him are fucking Heat Up and topless tequila or topless dancers, bottomless tequila WrestleMania weekend shows is essentially all he can work. I mean, have you looked at his cage match? It is ridiculous. The shows that he works.
Most of the shows he works don't even make it to cage match.
Right.
The point you're making, and that I agree with, is that if you wanted Marty Scurll banished from wrestling,
you
won.
You got it. Right.
You won. It's over. You won that battle. He is banished from wrestling. He works. Remember, he worked that bar show in some Caribbean island last year.
For All Caribbean Wrestling, I think your company.
Was it ACW?
I think it was. Oh yeah, he's ACW adjacent because that's who sponsored the Topless Dancers Bottomless Tequila show that I went to.
He worked for ACW, but he also worked just some random bar show in like Tahiti or something. He works like micro indies in Eastern Europe. Like these are the kind of shows he's working. If you wanted Marty Scurll banished from wrestling, you got it. It's what are you gonna do? There's still gonna be people who are gonna book him. No one of any consequence is gonna book him. He's not gonna make his way back in. So
look, also I want to point out that if you go through a Heat Up card,
Yeah.
There's not exactly. There's a couple of guys.
It's the all Caribbean wrestling of Japan. That's basically what we're getting.
Yeah, there are a couple of people on the Heat Up show that might be. Marty finds some solace with them. Yeah, camaraderie. With them. Yeah, there's a couple of not salacious individuals on those Heat Up shows. So yeah, maybe don't get upset about
so that
Heat
was
Up.
That was impromptu news.
Yeah,
I brought it back 1 week later.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
There you go. All right, so I always like to put you on the spot with a hot news story.
The Marty Scurll Heat Up.
As soon as you hear Marty Scurll, you're like, what is he doing to me?
Yeah,
what?
I plead the fifth. Is it about Hangman? I don't want to talk about Hangman and Marty again. So,
God, maybe he can get Hanger booked in Heat Up. Maybe
that'd be kind of cool. Yeah,
clip that. Get Rich canceled.
You don't want to watch Koji Kanemoto and Hangman Page?
On the latest Flagship, Rich Craich pitched Hangman Page working a Heat Up show against Koji Kanemoto. I would watch that match, though.
Yeah, that match sounds fucking awesome. Yeah,
I'll watch it. Why not? I haven't seen Kanemoto working.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if he's any good anymore, but
I'm sure he's like 60 at this
I
point.
bet I'm going to go on a limb, and I bet he's grumpy. So
that's for sure.
He's certainly going to be grumpy. But yeah, I haven't watched him fucking forever.
You never pitched him for one of your Tiger Mask Black Tiger revival matches.
I did not call. Yeah, I never called Koji over.
You didn't pitch Koji Kanemoto. What happened?
I'd rather book
him in the mix.
I'd rather book Misawa than Koji Kanemoto, to be honest. So.
Even at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, whatever. All right.
Okay, so let's
G1 Climax.
On the final daily G1 audio I did today on night 17, I did about 15 minutes of the best audio of my life, breaking down the semifinal that they went with and the 4 people that advanced. So a decent chunk of our audience has already heard my thoughts. So why don't you go first and talk about what you think of the semifinal? The first of all, who advanced out of each block. And you don't have to review anything because we've done all that behind the paywall already. If people are looking for G1 reviews, $5 tier, nightly G1 audio, it's all covered. Rich did Chicago and then night 13 and 14. I did the rest. The block finals shows are up there. But let's do some big picture as we head into the semifinals and finals. I gave a lot of my thoughts already, and I'm going to end up just repeating myself if I go first. So I think people want to hear what you think about this semifinals that New Japan has gone with.
Yeah, and I sort of, on the night, I did the 13-14 in a combo, and I sort of talked about the potential scenarios that could play out here in these finals and who I would make go through on the semifinals. And I'm pretty happy with all 4. Now, I haven't loved Callum Newman. Now, I'll start with Callum Newman since he's the first guy I'm looking at here. I haven't been enamored with Callum Newman's G1. A lot of crowd brawling for me, a lot of kind of chicken shit heels stuff for me. I get what he's doing and I understand, but it hasn't really landed with me all that much. And obviously I'm a huge fan of Callum Newman. People know that we've been putting him over pretty much since day one, since we first laid our eyes on him. We were like, this guy's going to be a dude, so just get ready for it. And I've liked a lot of his stuff. I have not enjoyed much of his G1, so I'll be curious to see if we get a real proper semifinal match here, if we get a little too much crowd brawling, a little bit too much of trying to cheat, a little too much of underhanded tactics. I would like to avoid that in a G1 semifinal. Unfortunately, with this year's G1, I don't know that we're going to avoid that. Rohei Oiwa, I have adored his G1. Now, the flip side of that is I thought Rohei Oiwa has had an incredible G1, and he's a guy. Him and Oleg Bolton are 2 guys that their stock has risen tremendously for me with this G1. Rohei Oiwa is a guy I've always thought was like kind of, a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of some of these other guys in his generation. Now that this G1's over, I'm like, no, he is absolutely a guy that can be in the mix and should be in the mix. And the thing that I love about him, something I love about pro wrestling, you get a simple move over. You just get one simple move over, and he's gotten the side headlock to be the most over move in New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. And that is a testament to hard work. It's a testament to just establishing it and just going out from day one and just establishing that I'm going to make this one move work. And that's, I know that you talked about that in one of your G1 reviews. Paul Heyman's always mentioned that. And a lot of, old wrestlers have always mentioned that. And Paul Heyman used, Mark Henry doing a headlock. I can make Mark Henry's headlock the most dangerous move in wrestling, because as long as you just have a guy put it on and you have people sell for it, and you have people, eventually it'll work. The dumbest move, the simplest move will matter. And it's like, so often in today's wrestling, it's like, well, how can I do 5 different flips and then do a cutter? How can I do, and it's like, guys, sometimes just get the fucking simple shit over in wrestling. That's going to go way further than all these flippy do things. We always talk about Will Ospreay. It's like, Will, you got the fucking, you got the hidden blade. Like, that's the move, man. That's a simple ass move. A fucking elbow to someone's head. That's enough to end it. And then you put him in this flippy do fucking Stormbreaker bullshit that half the time looks like garbage. Like, don't do that. Just keep the simple move. It's over and it'll work. And I think Ryohei Oiwa getting that side headlock over has just been awesome to watch as a story throughout this G1. And man, he fucking locks that thing in, and crowds are going nuts now. I mean, that again, just awesome to see him do that. And I've really been impressed by his G1. So, from a personal standpoint, I would prefer Oiwa go through. I think Oiwa getting to the finals is going to mean a little bit more for him versus Newman, who has won the title already, has already kind of been established as a champion. I don't know that he necessarily needs it as much. Now, they're going to tell us some story with Will Ospreay, obviously with Callum Newman, and at some point that's going to come to a head. So I get why you would want Callum Newman in the finals, but I would really like to, reward Oiwa. I think, I don't think Oiwa is going to win. Give you who I think is going to win here in a second, or who I would book to win. But I think Oiwa has earned that opportunity to be at least in the final, and that establishes him as a guy who's in the mix. Not quite there yet, but in the mix. Yu Uemura, he's a guy who I want to like a little bit more. I talked about that in my 13 and 14 reviews. Like, there's just something missing with the guy. Like, he's technically sound. He's got the look. It's all there, but it just doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't all kind of come together. It doesn't all click. And I just don't see it for him as like a tippy top guy. So I would be fine with him losing. And I want Yota Tsuji to go into that G1 final. And I want Yota Tsuji to win the G1 final, because I expected Shota Umino to win this year's G1 and go on and face Tsuji at Wrestle Kingdom, or if they were going to do some King of Pro Wrestling thing or whatever. I kind of expected that to be, what was going to happen. Obviously, he got hurt. That didn't happen. You move away and you pivot. And I think this year is the best year, since you don't have an obvious, definitive, this is the guy who's going to challenge for the title at Wrestle Kingdom. Like, sometimes you'd watch a G1, and throughout the entire G1, you knew, okay, this is the guy that's going to win, and he's going to go to Wrestle Kingdom, and he's going to face Okada, he's going to face Tanahashi, he's going to face Omega, whatever it might be, face Naito or whatever. There's not one of those guys. It's kind of a wide open field, and I think that's the best time to have Tsuji win this whole fucking thing as the champion, because you now have a couple more months to build up for Wrestle Kingdom. You have a couple more title defenses you can do in between then. You don't have a guy right away that I think you're circling and saying this is the dude who's going to be, challenging for the title at Wrestle Kingdom. So you figure out who that's going to be over the next couple of months. You figure out who gets the momentum. You figure out who's looking good, who's the crowd's connecting with. And it could be a number of different guys. It might be one of these other 3 guys. It might be Shota Umino when he's ready to go. Like, I just think this is the best year to establish Tsuji if you're trying to make him into like the guy. And clearly they are. He's the champion. He brought back the world title. He brought back the lineage. He talks about New Japan Pro Wrestling over and over and over again. And I think he's had a very good G1 as well. I would like for Tsuji to be, I think, the first guy since Kensuke Sasaki or whatever, back in, I don't even remember, 2000. It might have been in 2007. I forget it. 2004, 2007. I forget when it was that he won the G1 as champion. I would have Yota Tsuji do it. I think it's a good time to do it. You establish him now clearly a little bit above the rest of his class, and I don't think that's a problem, because now the rest of these guys are hunting to get there and get their shot and go to Wrestle Kingdom. So that's the way I would book it, and it's a good semifinal. I mean, there's no Ren Narita, so that's good. It could have been worse. There was some dangerous, I'm not in love with Callum Newman being in there, but I still think he's going to have a pretty good performance. And I'm ultimately happy with these Final Four. I haven't been totally happy with the G1 in full, but these Final Four do give me some hope, and these should be 2 great matches. And I think whoever it is in the final should be a tremendous match as well, as long as we don't get too bogged down with Callum Newman, crowd brawling and heel stuff. So,
yeah, I think that the big thing for me is, this is what we've been asking New Japan to do for a number of years.
Yeah. They're 3 years too late to it, but at least they're doing it.
Yeah, you got 3 semifinalists from that same class of dojo with Tsuji, Oiwa, and Uemura, and then Callum Newman, obviously, the young Gaijin who's already been an IWGP champion. So we're here. And we had a situation where Shingo and Hiroki Goto and Zack Sabre Jr., they were all eliminated before their final match.
Mm-hmm. I love that too. They got all those guys out of the mix.
Yeah, and they finally have kicked the door in with this. They should have done it years sooner. Gato is a very slow and deliberate booker, as we know. But now, we see if it's too late. They have to create a meaningful star. I don't think Yota Tsuji has been any kind of home run. I think Yota Tsuji has hit his ceiling. I don't think Yota Tsuji will ever be more popular than he already is. He's not a business mover. He's been a business sustainer. New Japan business isn't going down, largely built around Yota Tsuji on top. I hesitate to call him an ace. And that's there's something to be said for that. And that's something else I talked about on the audio today, that the easiest thing for a booker to do is to tank business. That's easy. The hardest thing for a booker to do is grow business. That's very hard. But it's also not easy to sustain business when you don't have a legitimate ace, when you don't have a legitimate top of the card star to keep things afloat. But Tsuji's already into his 30s. I just see him having a ceiling that he's already hit. So the question is, can they create a real business moving star out of Oiwa or Uemura, or when Shota Umino comes back, or whoever? Can that happen? This is a step towards that. Mm-hmm. Because now you have a situation where, look, Tsuji's not winning this tournament. We know that. The question is, when does he lose? And the question is, well, yeah, I guess if Umino was going to win and you still want to get to Umino versus Tsuji, but on paper he shouldn't win. So then the question becomes, who does he lose to and when? Does he lose to Oiwa? Does he lose to Uemura? Can they have a classic match in defeating him to help them get to at least his level, if not a higher level? But I mean, you're right. If their planned winner got hurt on the first night in Chicago and they want to retain what their plans for, then I guess Tsuji can win.
That's the easiest path. That's I think is Tsuji winning. And I think it's also a feather in his cap as well. If you're going to push this guy as one of your tippy top stars, it's a good time to do it.
Yeah, right. It could be another thing to help his reputation and his prestige, to have him win the G1 as the champion and then pick his own opponent, right? And all of that. But to me, I see it more of an opportunity to get Oiwa or Uemura over a little bit more. And like you said, with the side headlock gimmick is a nice little step there. Look, you're going to have to keep trying with these guys. Look, I think Oleg Boltin, they did some nice steps with him in this tournament.
He was great. Yeah, he had a fantastic turn. His stock has risen 10 times for me in this tournament.
And I think that they planted seeds with Yuto Ice, with the underdog gimmick and fighting until he's literally can't fight anymore because he's knocked out, right? They at least did something narrative-wise with Yuto Ice, even if, in my opinion, towards the end, he became kind of like the fucking Wile E. Coyote to some extent, where it became cartoonish with him getting knocked out every match. But that's just, with that gimmick and the way he carries himself right now, he's always going to be a little cartoonish, right? But they planted some seeds with him at least. So I think that this was the first G1 where I can definitively say that they took giant steps forward with the generation of talent that they needed to take giant steps forward with. Doesn't guarantee success. Doesn't guarantee that they're going to get one of these guys over at a meaningful level. But my God, was it nice to see.
You got to fucking try. And it's nice that they're fucking trying finally.
And man, was it a relief when Ren Narita lost to Gabe Kidd. I mean, it was a relief because you didn't want him in the semifinal mix. That's the last thing you wanted. That was my fear. Yeah,
that was my fear. Is that's a nice, easy, story to tell as he gets into that semifinal and somebody, beat, and of course he wasn't going to get to the final. Somebody was going to beat him, but just the very thought of him taking up one of these spots in the semifinal just would have bothered me a lot. I'm glad that he got out of there.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's an encouraging semifinal. And now we see, look, I hope Tsuji doesn't win. But you lay out a very compelling reason why he could. I don't think it'd be a disaster, but we've kind of elevated him already. Let's elevate someone else. And if it was Umino and it got fucked up, well, then use that as an opportunity to do something with someone else. I say, all right, we had to rip up that script. A lot of times in pro wrestling, good things happen when you have to change course due to something out of your control. You could look at this company and point at situations like that. So anyway, That'll be your semifinals and final. Tenzan retirement, semifinals on the 15th. And then the next night, the G1 finals. And I'm sure we'll cover all that next week.
Yep. We'll be on top of it next week for sure. But that is the G1 semifinals and finals. And again, daily G1 audio is over. That is done. And we're going to cover those shows next week on the Flagship. So both those will be reviewed and talked about extensively. So there you go. And the Tenzan retirement match, of course, and then whatever else they book on those shows. Probably should be some newsworthy shows. So probably a bunch of stuff happen on those. All right. Let's get Noah. We don't have much more time, so let's talk about Pro Wrestling Noah here. The big news out of Noah Legacy Rise from the August 9th show is that Tetsuya Naito is your brand new GHC heavyweight champion, defeating Shane Haste in the main event of that show to win the title. Joe, what'd you think of Naito versus Shane Haste? And what do you think of Naito getting belted up?
And you're right. They've had about 47 Legacy Rise shows this year alone.
I feel like all their shows are called Legacy
Rise. They have one the next night, for fuck's sake, which I haven't watched yet. But I heard that the show the next night in Korakuen with the Eita Kai Fujimura and the junior tag title match. I heard that show was pretty good. Let me see if.
Okay, I'm not nuts. By the way, they have had 12 Legacy Rise shows this year.
No, you're not kidding. No, they use this a lot. They use this a lot.
Because I thought I was like, am I just being weird about this? No, they have had 12 Legacy Rise shows this year.
So anyway, we're not going to talk about night 2, which had the junior stuff on it, and also I'm unspoiled on that. So if the chat can chill out for me, actually, I just won't. The chat can do it. I'm not going to tell the chat what to do. Chat, do what you want. I'm just gonna not. I'm gonna close that tab.
Oh, because that was the final of the 200 tournament wrapped up then.
It's
too,
the
right?
final of the 200 tournament. It's the junior tag title match, and it's the junior and Eita and Fujimura.
No, I should probably watch that.
So I was planning on watching that and maybe doing a plus, but if you're going to watch it too, maybe, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But the point is I haven't seen it yet and I don't want to be spoiled, so I'm going to stay out of the tab. So if I say anything about the first show that contradicts what happens on the second show, that explains it. I haven't watched it yet, and it sounds like you haven't either. Okay, so the first night drew 1589. I think that outdrew the Korakuen G1, if I'm not mistaken. Korakuen G1 did... let me see. I have it right here. I thought I had it here. I don't have it. I think it did a little bit less, but either way. Tetsuya Naito, you asked me, defeats Shane Haste for the GHC title. I thought that it was the absolute best you're going to get out of current Tetsuya Naito, and I thought that I am confident enough in what I saw to call it a good match, but I think the good voters of Cage Match are out of their fucking minds with the rating that this match has in an 8.75. Not a fucking chance. It wasn't that good. It was a good match.
Is that what it's still at?
8.75.
Yeah.
That was way higher than that a few days ago. So I think some reasonable people, either that or Jordan Grace really hates Shane Haste, and maybe that explains that's so inside that I'm not even gonna. But anyway. Yeah, it was a good match. I think you're not going to get anything better out of modern Tetsuya Naito. I cannot believe they put this title on him. They lost the tag titles, and we were sitting here talking about, all right, well, it's time to scoot LIJ out of here, right? They're not helping business. Naito is completely fucking washed. And they turn around and they put their fucking world title on him 2 months later.
And we talked about this scenario happening in that conversation that we had. We're like, they're just as likely to put the world title on him. And I'll be damned.
Yeah. Unfortunately, option B occurred. The match was good. Shane Haste, I thought, did an awesome job getting a good match even out of Naito. I do not think this was a great match. But it wasn't. It was a good match, and Naito wins the belt. I think Shane Haste, the story of his reign is that he is a pretty good case study. And if you give a good wrestler something meaningful to do that he could sink his teeth into, sometimes you get their best efforts. And Shane Haste had become very lazy. Shane Haste, obviously, 2 years ago when he was finishing up with New Japan, was just goofing around. Not taking it very seriously. It seemed like he was a guy who was just willing to collect checks for the rest of his career for anyone who would be willing to employ him. But they brought him in. They obviously laid out a plan to put this title on him, and he worked his ass off in this title reign. So sometimes it's just a matter of giving someone a reason to be motivated. Shane Haste knew he was never getting pushed in New Japan, and his effort matched what he felt, his effort matched what he knew his ceiling was, right? So it's like this promotion, they were going to belt him up, give him the responsibility of putting Tetsuya Naito over. They even built in a New Japan storyline, how he beat Tetsuya Naito in a G1 but never got a title shot, right? And was still bitter about that, which was a nice storyline touch. And they go out there and have a good match. And I guess if you're Noah, I guess there's no harm in trying this. It is Tetsuya Naito, for fuck's sake. I just don't think there's much juice left to squeeze. But I will gladly come on here and eat my words if they run some bigger buildings with this guy and he fills them up. I don't think it's impossible, but from what I've seen, he hasn't meant much. So I'm not hopeful that that's going to be the case, but I guess I could see why they're giving this a try.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. It's Noah, so I don't have really many, I'm not angry about this at all. It's fucking Noah, man. We talked about this 2 months ago. They just do the weirdest shit that you could, whatever the weirdest thing you can imagine, that's probably what they're going to choose. And this, of course, is what they choose here. And I get it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of money guys up and down their roster because they're really terrible at, getting the most out of their wrestlers on the roster. So I'm not surprised they went this way with Naito. Yeah, we'll see if it means anything for business. I doubt it. I mean, he hasn't meant anything yet. Maybe people waiting for him to be the champion, and then they're going to all of a sudden start coming to watch him. I mean, the crowd was hot for him on this night, no doubt about it. The crowd was way into it this night. Are they going to sustain? Is that going to be something people want to see for a while? Are you going to want to watch Tetsuya Naito title defenses all the time? I don't know. And the match itself, I think Naito looked fine in it. Now, he's been disastrous lately. He's looked like, oh my God, this guy just needs to never wrestle again at some points this year. This was not that. He was fine, but I do think that this was an all-time great performance by Shane Haste. Shane Haste was fucking tremendous in this match. And when you wrestle against Naito, and this was true of guys wrestling Naito 2 and 3 years ago, that you got to do a lot of that work. If you want to make the Destino look good, you got to make it look good. Will Ospreay learned that. If you want to, when he had to literally work with, a Tetsuya Naito that was essentially not there at all and was like, look, I got it. That's kind of what Naito ended up becoming in the last couple of years, is because his knees were just totally shot. That, that match where, Ospreay knocked him out and had to basically work with a dummy. That's kind of what you got to do with Naito. To be fair,
he was literally unconscious.
Yes,
yeah,
match, no, and he's not as bad these days as when he was literally unconscious in that match, but he's not far off. No Knees Naito was real rough. Now he got himself into a little bit better shape. He lost a little bit of weight. He looked okay here, but I think this was an all-time great Shane Haste performance, and I think this was a guy who, like you said, the effort level's clearly risen for him recently, being in the spot and getting this strap and being, in these main events or whatever. And I think this match he definitely, you could tell, took to heart. And it's like, I'm in Korakuen Hall main eventing against Tetsuya Naito. I got to bring fucking 110% to this one. And he absolutely did. I thought Haste was phenomenal in this match. This is the best I've ever seen Shane Haste work. Even against his prime, I think it was the best Shane Haste match I've ever seen in my entire life. With that said, is everybody else going to give that 110% effort against Naito? That's what I worry about. That's what I'm struggling to figure out. Is this is a nice novelty to have Naito win this title, and who else do you have? But how often is he going to wrestle? How often is he going to defend this title? How well can he wrestle against, is he going to wrestle Marufuji? And that's not going to, I don't think that's going to look very good at all. And so that's what I'm curious. I'm more than willing to give it a shot, but I'm not too hopeful this is going to be a business mover. And I'm not too hopeful this is going to be, critically very good either, because I just don't think Naito's got it in him anymore. Even down a couple pounds and even, trying a little harder because he's the champion, I don't know. He just physically can't do it. So I'll be very curious what he, what his couple first defenses look like and how he looks in the ring.
They put this title on Muto.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same fucking thing. I mean, I don't know who's worse. Muto had to be worse, right? I don't think Muto was capable of a match this good.
Muto was worse. Muto was worse.
Yeah, he wasn't capable of a match this good.
No.
This is like the guy who modeled himself after Muto, completely following his footsteps in so many ways. It's crazy.
Muto probably called him and said, "Go to Noah. Those guys are idiots. They'll fucking give you the
fucking
title.
marks. They'll pay you.
They'll pay you a lot. They'll give you the title. Yeah, they're fucking idiots, man.
They'll give you
Look what I did.
75 retirement matches. Yeah, you can work those guys like a fiddle. That Nosawa total pushover. Yeah, I mean, you're probably not wrong. That's probably exactly what went down. I don't know. His title matches are probably going to be terrible. I wouldn't expect this kind of performance from him on a regular basis, obviously. I can see why they're trying it. I have to watch this stuff, so I wish they wouldn't try it, but it is what it is, you know?
Right, yeah.
It's good for him for still getting booked and, making decent money and while his body can still do something, I guess.
It does something. Those Destinos, man, I was like, ooh, and Shane Hayes is like, I got it, brother.
He hit him.
I got you. I got you, brother.
Yeah.
Hang on tight. I got you.
Yeah. It's like when a dad is wrestling his kid in the yard and doing all the work, right? Getting up for the kid, taking big bumps, making sure that that's kind of like what this was. Marufuji versus Kenta, national title. Now this, obviously, I was
not your
locked
grandfather's,
in.
not your grandfather's Kenta versus Marufuji. I'll tell you that.
No, but I tell you what, my take on this is that for what they are today, it was good. For what they are now.
Yeah. As long as you understand that you're not getting.
As long as you understand what they are now. And I think they both understand who they are now, and they didn't try to do too much. They didn't try to recreate fucking 2006 Budokan Hall because they know they can't. And they wrestled like who they are today, and they had a good match for who they are today. And I have similar thoughts on Kenta that I had on Shane Hayes in that, look, we all know there's situations with Kenta where he doesn't give a shit, where he's lazy, where he's going to go through the motions, where he's going to goof off. The last 2 years or so in New Japan, they've got him teaming with Chase Owens. He's goofing around. He's not working hard. He's power walking to the ring in his final Wrestle Kingdom in that Rambo, just being silly because he's not taking it seriously.
That annoys me. His entire New Japan run annoys me more and more as time goes on.
Yeah, Fang revives. Now he had his moments. I mean, that ladder match or whatever with Tanahashi, which was nasty. It was almost good for all the wrong ways because they maimed each other. But anyway, he's another guy who Noah brings him in, and look, we've all seen Kenta American indie matches that all have the cheap finish where he's like hitting somebody with a briefcase or using a foreign object, doing roll-ups and holding tights. His effort levels are going to match what he perceives, because when Noah brought him in that first night, we're like, holy shit, he's like channeling old Kenta. He's not goofing around. He looks dead serious about this. He's not the same physically, but he's the same mentally. I think he respects these letters. I think it's obviously not the same company, and it's the same company in name only, but this is a guy who picked up some fucking chairs in his life, to continue the theme of this show, for this company, and he's in there against a guy he respects in Marufuji. They're intrinsically linked forever, like Tenzan and Kojima are, and he has taken everything he has done in Noah seriously, and he has worked within his current modern capabilities, and he's not going to be able to go out there and have match of the years. He can't do that anymore, but he could do this. And he could have those kind of matches he had against like Kano and his brief GHC title run, which were perfectly fine matches for who he is today. And that's what I thought this was, because I think he takes working in Noah for those letters, even if it's not for Misawa, even if it's not for the same people he used to work for, I think he respects the letters, because he very clearly is in a different mind space than he was in for 90% of his New Japan run.
Oh, no, and I think that's pretty obvious that he at least, I think in his mind, he understands that he has a legacy with this company, whether or not it's, the same company, like you said. But I think those letters and his name, I feel like he thinks that he can't go there and dog it. He can't go there and play around and fuck around or whatever. He, I think, has too much respect for his upbringing and his legacy in that company to go around and fuck. Because there's never been. Has he cracked a smile once in Noah? I don't think so.
No, he's not. He's taking this very seriously, and look, he's not trying to be 2006 Kenta. He knows he can't be that. And Marufuji too. Look, I thought they worked a very smart match, and it held my attention, and I thought the work for who they are today was very good, and it hid their weaknesses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're pros, and they're able to do that if they want to do that. And Marufuji has been very disinterested at times, too. It's almost like he's being forced at gunpoint a lot of the time to go work in Noah because he doesn't want to. He's in pain, and it's been that way for a long time. But I think that they took this match seriously and had as good a match as they were going to be able to have in the spot they were in and the current physical spot that they're in, I mean. So I enjoyed it from that perspective, but with both of these guys and when they wrestle each other, you're going to have to come in with those eyes. You have to. So Marufuji wins. He successfully defends the national title. And I guess we're going to talk about the N1 later and all of that stuff. So any other thoughts on Marufuji and Kenta?
Not really. I think, like you said, I was pleasantly surprised about it because I thought I was going to be like, oh man, this is so sad. I don't want to watch these guys. But then it was just like, oh, I'm watching these guys, wrestle a match that they would wrestle, 20 years after their great matches. I mean, it'd be ridiculous to expect them to do anything close to what they could do 20 years ago today after all that they've done in this business since then. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that they kept it pretty simple. They I will say the crowd, it didn't seem like the crowd really cared enough about it, and that kind of annoyed me. I was like, man, this. Well,
they have a new crowd now.
And that's exactly what I was like, man, the generation has turned over so much that this is fucking Kenta and Marufuji in this ring, and it's like, they just kind of saw it as, oh yeah, it's these two guys. Didn't feel like a big moment and a big match. But why would it, given that it's been all those many years and the crowd's turned over and new fans probably have no concept of how great these guys were and how linked they were throughout history. But no, it was good enough match. Good enough match for sure.
When they wrestled on the Marufuji 20 or 25th anniversary show, whatever that was in like 2013, 14, whatever year that was, and it was Hideo Itami working Marufuji, they tried to do their old match to some extent, and they did okay. The match was pretty good. They don't even bother trying that now, nor should they, because it would have been... Look, let me put this show... This is the best way I can put this show to people. And we'll talk about some of the undercard stuff in a minute. But the top of this card could have been an absolute fucking disaster, and it wasn't. I thought that both matches were pretty good. And there was a real chance that both of these matches could have been embarrassing levels of terrible. But that didn't happen. So they were pretty good. And for that, I thought as a whole, this card was a pretty fun watch. Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. Yeah. It was actually interesting with the 200 match. And I watched everything.
I was going to ask you, what do you think of the 200 concept now that you've seen it in action?
I would like it a little bit more if it was 5-minute match. I think the 200, the 3 minutes and 20 seconds is way too limiting. I think it's really, really hard to have. It just, these matches feel like gimmick matches as opposed to, and you might say a 5-minute time limit, that's a gimmick match too, but I think I can understand. I can believe that these people can wrestle a 5-minute match and get in the ring and say, okay, look, I'm going to do whatever I can to win this match in less than 5 minutes. Because that's kind of what the whole idea is supposed to be. We talked about this last week when we were previewing the show, is that it doesn't bother me knowing that there might be you're playing a basketball game and it's a game to 5 or whatever. Yeah, you're going to bust your ass to try to get those 5 points as quickly as possible. If it's a game to 16, I got a little time to fuck around a little bit, until we're up to 10. It's like whatever. Yeah. But I had trouble thinking of this as anything but a gimmick because it was just like so short and the fucking clock was up there right away and it's making buzzing sounds and it's turning over and it just felt a little too fast. Now it's a little too late to change it because they've already made the branding. It's already ready to go. I just think this thing would have been a little bit better as like, I don't know, the GHC 500 title or whatever, just the 3 minutes is a little too short in my mind. But I appreciated the attempt, and I think it was a fun little thing to do, but you're going to really, like, you're only going to be able to tell, like, a couple different stories in 3 minutes, and they ran through basically all of them on this first night. You had 2 time limit draws. You had a guy trick a guy into getting a count out, and then you had a guy blitz a guy and get the win. Like, that's kind of all you're going to get. And I think with a 5-minute time limit, you maybe have a little bit more wiggle room to tell a real story in a match. 3 minutes, you really do not. You have nothing. It's so quick.
To your point of it's hard to suspend disbelief that you can beat someone in 2 minutes and 3 minutes and 20 seconds?
3 minutes and 20 seconds, yeah.
They only had one guy win. They did 2 time limit draws, and they did a guy sleazed his way to a count out. So they kind of agreed with you, right? Because they didn't like have guys beat each other, you know. So look,
yeah, the only guy that took an actual, I think it was a heavyweight beating a junior, right?
Endo over beating,
yeah.
And that the others, they did the gimmick count out where Hayata beat Masa Kitamiya by count out, and then the
basically
other two
tricking him on going outside, and because they had like
right.
5 counts, and then kicked him, and then ran into the ring, and that's how he won. So
yeah, it was like banana peel count out win, and then the other 2 were at the time limit draws, and you know the one where like Kano's like working for the sub at the end, desperately trying to get a submission on,
yeah.
And I have to say I enjoyed the concept. I liked it a lot. I think it's something different. I think it's something fun to break up some of these shows with something that just gets in and gets out. I think the fans, I was really trying to pay attention to the fans. I think it put the fans on edge. They were locked into these matches because they knew they could end it at any time. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be into this long term. I think you made a good point about there's only so many different stories you could tell. How many times can someone get a cheap count out win? How many times can you go to a draw before people just want to see people win? You know what I mean? There's only so much you could do with the concept from a finish standpoint. For now, I'm enjoying it, and I think it added a lot of cool variety to the show. Let me put it to you this way. I liked this show a lot more because these 4 matches were on it, rather than if these 4 matches were replaced with 2 6-man tags with guys that just aren't doing anything important.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, singles matches, I'll always prefer a good singles match with. Yeah, because there's a scenario where Kiyomiya and Alpha Wolf and Kano and all these guys are just in meaningless 15-minute 6-man tag. Yeah,
we get White Raven Squad versus fucking Team 2000X.
Yeah, who cares?
For the 1000th time in a this is greatly preferable to that. So I really enjoyed it. So what the fuck are they doing with the time limit draws though in terms of how this tournament's going to work? Like I'm afraid to look forward because I don't want to get spoiled. And, from that standpoint, that I wonder about because these were quarterfinal matches because it's an 8-man tournament. But only 2 people won. So did Hayata and Tetsuya Endo have did they go right to a final? Is that what they're doing? I'm afraid. Let me see if it's. Let me see.
I think you're going to get spoiled, but I think that they are. I think that it's those 2.
Final. Okay.
Yeah, because when it's in time limit draw, you're out.
Right.
You're out. You're just completely out. So
I'm looking at the card from the next night, and it's just it's Hayato and Endo in the final. I like that. I like it. I'm
That's why
endorsing
Kano
this.
was mad. Yeah, Kano was mad.
Yeah. Kano was real mad.
Yeah, he's like, they're like, draw and you're out. And Kano's like, no, more time. And they're like, no, that's it, brother.
No, that's it. You don't get more time. Yeah, I would have been mad if they added more time because that's the whole point.
Yeah, Kano was like 2 more minutes, 1 more, and they're like, no, get the fuck out of the ring, brother. And he's like, well, that's bullshit. I don't like this at all. Yeah,
Kano's the perfect guy to fuck in that way too because he's always annoyed. So that was kind of I'm endorsing this concept for now. Is that fair?
Now. Yeah. I think like in 6 months we're gonna be like, oh god, another count out in this bullshit. Yeah. Another time limit draw. Like, but right now it is a nice change of pace. It is a nice change of pace.
All right. So anything else on this show you want to discuss, or do you want to just jump right into the M1? Again, top to bottom, I thought this show was easy to watch. The tags, none of the tags overstayed their welcome. Obviously, the 200 stuff didn't either, and I thought the top of the card over-delivered big time.
Yeah, I liked most of everything that I saw in the show. I mean, the opener was obviously you're just every Noah opener.
Hey, they won. Team Noah won.
They did. They're on a nice little win streak here. I thought the Kid Lycos and Bushi
three-way
and
tag.
Rusev. That was
Four-way tag.
That sucked because it was like a lot of gimmick and a lot of like.
It was only 5 minutes though. So.
Yeah, it was like goofy shit. Like we had a headlock sequence where everybody in the match is in a headlock or whatever. So that was whatever. And
super crazy, living off the fumes of ECW with his super effing crazy shirt when he comes out.
No, it's incredible.
They had the Young Boys in there too, though, which was interesting to get see them work a weird match like this. But
I thought the show was good. I thought it was a nice, easy watch for me, and wasn't. You know what happened? It wasn't bogged down by Team 2000X shit. I think I've realized that how refreshing it was to not hear that music and be like, oh no, it's just God. If you watch enough wrestling across this world right now. And I know people have been, because you've been talking about it with the G1 reviews and there's people dude, trust me, if you watch all this shit as much as we do, there's nothing that infuriates you more than like, here comes a bunch of heels to muck a match up. Like it's, and they're all doing the same shit. They're all just doing the same fucking gimmick. Team 2000X is not doing anything that much different than the House of fucking Torture. And it's just like, God, I don't want to see this anymore. I'm done. But you didn't have that on the show. It wasn't bogged down by it at all. So that helped. That helped a lot.
That's true.
So.
There wasn't. You're right about that. I guess just quickly, I like the angle they did with Eita because it's a preview match for the match that we're gonna have the next night. He tagged with Daiki Odashima. That's my boy. Versus Fujimura and Masaoka, and they did a real quick double count out, and then they restarted the match. And then Aita just went apeshit with a chair and just started beating the fuck out of the Team 2000X guys with the chair to the point where even Odashima was like, calm down, bro.
Yeah, it's all right.
This is out of hand. Like, you got to relax. So I thought that was a really hot angle to set up the title match that happened the next night. So, all right. Do you want to talk about this?
Let's do N1.
These N1 brackets.
Yeah, let's finish out. Sorry, All In London. We'll have plenty of time to talk about you. In the future. So I got the blocks and I have them with their nicknames as well as they were listed on Noah's website. Right. And there are some incredible ones here. So I
don't know any of this yet. So this is new to me.
Okay. So September 12th is when the N1 victory begins.
Right.
Your A blocker in the in your N1 victory. The Prince of Madness, Kaito Kiyomiya.
Prince of Madness.
The Prince of Madness. You know this one, Mr. Smack Daddy, Yoshiki Nomura. You know about that one.
Daddy, yeah.
One that I love, Hearts on Fire, Shane Haste.
Hearts on Fire, Shane Haste. What? I thought you said Hearts of Fire.
No, Hearts on Fire.
Hearts on Fire, like the Rocky IV training montage song.
Yes,
Hearts on Fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think they asked Shane? He's like, I don't know, fucking Hearts on Fire or something. They're like, all right, cool. That's what we'll put in there, buddy. Thank you. What's your nickname? He's like, I have to have a nickname. They're like, yeah. He's like, I don't know, fucking Hearts on Fire or something. They're like, all right, cool.
He probably just watched Rocky IV. With Rocky
right. He's like,
in Siberia with the logs on his back, marching through the snow. Hearts on Fire. Yeah, that's
he texted his wife. She was sleeping because it was Japanese time, and he's like, "How long? When do you need it?" And they're like, next hour." And he's like, "It's Hearts on Fire. How about that?"
Yeah, like Dennis Condrey saying, "I don't know. How about Midnight Express?"
Yeah. What do you want the theme to be? Just fucking the theme from Midnight Express. I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the most iconic wrestling themes in history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Asked Dennis Condrey. I don't know. What do you want the team name to be? The Midnight Express song. I don't know. Well, what's your song? The Midnight Express theme. I don't know. Just fucking leave me alone. I don't care. And then the rest
Bobby
is
Eaton just shrugging his shoulders.
I'm good. Whatever.
It's good with me. It's good with me. Yeah.
If it works for Dennis, it works for me.
Yeah.
Right. Passion General, Yuki Ino. Passion General.
Passion General?
Yeah.
That sounds like a character from a romance novel at
Passion General,
in a grocery store. She's got a crush on the Passion General.
The Beast, Kaz Fujita. Nice and classic. You don't even ask him. You just know it's the Beast. Yeah, you don't even.
We got to get 8 Kaz Fujita matches. All right.
Yeah, well. Hey, 2026. I'll take 8 Kaz Fujita
Well, if
matches.
Odashima's not in the block, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's true. He did not make it in. Because Alpha Wolf won the multi-man ladder match.
That's right.
Southeast Asian standout Chen.
Who?
Southeast Asian standout Chen. Joe?
I feel like the Snoop Dogg gif. Who?
The former Dante Chen. You remember Dante Chen?
Oh no! All right,
Dante Chen of
sure
of NXT fame. NXT
Wait a minute.
Level Up. Fame?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did you call him Southeast Asian Standout?
Nope, that is his
They're
nickname.
calling him that?
That is his nickname. Quote, Southeast Asian Standout Chen.
Well, now we're going to have to call him that forever.
Southeast Asian Standout Chen, yeah.
Whenever Dante Chen comes up on the show, which I'm guessing might not be too frequently in the future.
I don't think we have to worry about it all that much. But
or if we go back on, we're watching our NXT Level Up rewatch in 10 years, he has to be referred to as Southeast Asian Standout Chen.
Yep.
It's just Chen. They're not calling him.
Just Chen, yeah. Southeast Asian Standout Chen.
So his name is just Chen.
Not Dante Chen, just Chen. Yep.
That's like the generic boss in a bad Nintendo game or something. Yeah.
A Streets of Rage boss.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking Chen. The Godfather, Takashi Sugiura.
Oh, so it was going to be Kama Mustafa.
No, the Godfather. That'd be interesting. But no, he's
Godfather. Coming down with the hose.
There is an era of Noah that would not have been that unlikely. More All Japan. All Japan had their weird
All Japan.
Like when you had the weird D'Lo Brown. You're like, fucking D'Lo Brown had like an extensive run in All Japan Pro Wrestling with Jamal and like, what are we doing here? And then the Lunatic Wolf, Alpha Wolf, rounds out your A Blocka.
That's
so
A Block. All right.
Kaito Kiyomiya, Inamura, Shane Haste, Yuki Kaz Fujita, Chen, Sugiura, and Alpha Wolf is your A block.
I don't know what I think of that block. Not a lot of matches there I'm fired up about.
Chen versus Kaz Fujita. I mean, that's going to be
what's that about?
That's going to be a match for sure. B block, quote, Mr. Pain in the Ass Kano.
Are they calling him that?
That's what his nickname is, Mr. Pain in the Ass.
Kano.
And it fits, yeah. He's probably mad that that's his nickname. He's mad that he's coming out here. He's mad that he's wrestling. Yeah. He's just like fucking Mr. Pain in the Ass. Black Sun, Kenta.
Black Sun, Kenta.
Big Death Cab for Cutie fan, Kenta.
Black Hole Sun, little Soundgarden.
Yeah, maybe he's a Soundgarden guy. Maybe he's a Death Cab for Cutie guy. I don't know what it is, but Kenta, Black Sun. The Elegant Avenger, Tetsuya Endo. I hope he goes 0 for fucking 8. The Elegant Avenger. Get the fuck out of here.
Bad name. That's a bad name.
The Elegant Avenger. The Passion Boss, Manabu Soya. Now that is that when you're done with the Passion General, and you're like, what's part 2? It's the Passion Boss. It's Manabu Soya. Yeah, you want
for sure.
You want some passion? You get the fucking Passion Boss.
Fabio in like a nice business suit on the cover.
right, the Passion Boss. This one's very, I think, disrespectful. The former Owada-san is back as Kuga, Kouga. His nickname is, quote, the work in progress. That doesn't seem... Now, he came from Progress. Remember his
Yes.
I get it, but also like the work in progress, I feel like he should be the finished product should be what it, right? Like the finished product.
Well, they're being honest about it. It's
he's a work in progress.
It's an interesting way to promote pro wrestling, but they're just being like, we don't know about this guy.
Yeah,
we know he could beat Gene Money, but we're not sure how he could stack up to the competition here in pro wrestling. Noah,
you really gave it to Karen Noir, but we're not sure how he's going to do against Manabu Soya, the Passion Boss. So we'll see. The franchise, Titus Alexander. So Titus Alexander getting a nice little booking here.
Oh, coming N1. In a guest from Marvelous enters the chat.
Marvelous representative here, yeah. The chairman, Masa Kitamiya, last year's winner.
Right.
And the real rebel.
Calling him last year's winner or the chairman?
No. The last year's winner is my note. He's the chairman, Masa Kitamiya.
Is La Parka insulted by this?
I would be if I was.
That's the one only chairman. Chair.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the real rebel, Ozawa.
David Finlay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
rebel.
Stand it. We need a rebel. We need a rebel.
I wish. Yeah. God damn, I wish David Finlay was on fucking the N1 and not on AEW. Not going to have a boring ass match with Jay White.
God.
Fucking cares about David Finlay.
So that's the whole B block?
That's it. That's B blocker. So A blocker sounds pretty good.
No, Matto Jackson. No?
Nico Jackson. No, none of them.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's the B block. All right. Kano, Kenta, Tetsuya Endo, Manabu Soya, Owada-san.
The work in progress.
I didn't write down any. I just wrote down Owada-san, Titus Alexander, Masa Kitamiya, and Ozawa.
Yep.
I think I like that block better. You know, it's not exactly the 2016 G1B block, but I mean, it's someone's gonna look that up now, and maybe that block stunk. I'm just taking a stand.
No, dude, those G1s, man. I did the Flagship Plus yesterday. And I did like this day in wrestling history, and it was August 12th. Yeah. And like there was like 4 fucking incredible matches. You had a write up about Okada Tanahashi's time limit draw that was awesome. I read it pretty much verbatim. Bravo to you. Yeah. Great work there. But like going back, it was like all 4 of these years all had, and I was like, oh my God, like look at these G1 shows. This is absurd. Like I know that this was a good G1, but it's like, God damn it. I shouldn't have done that because I was like, oh, look at what these were. I mean, we're never going to go back to that, and we shouldn't compare it, and I get it. I understand it, but Jesus
time marches
Christ.
Etc. Yeah. I tried to warn people in real time. I said, you better appreciate the time and space that we're in. Because it does not last. I've seen too many times where these promotions, it cannot last forever. We were so fortunate to have it last as long as it did.
All right, you want the 2016 B blocker?
I feel like Naito was always anchoring the B block like on a yearly basis.
Well, he didn't have to anchor this one too much, but he was in the B block.
Yeah, he was always in the fucking B block. All right, what was the B block?
Kenny Omega, 2016 Tetsuya Naito, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Toru Yano. Now you're Big Michael Elgin.
He had a 5-star match. He had a 5-star match with Naito in that.
Goddamn right he did. 2016 Katsuri Shibata.
Yeah.
Evil. Tomoyaki Hanma. Yuji Nagata and Yoshihashi was your
pre-broken neck Tomoyaki Hanma.
Yes. Still pretty fucking good.
Yuji Nagata. Who's the other guy?
Yoshihashi.
Oh, all right, fuck him. All right, there's only 3 shitty wrestlers in that entire block.
That's a good block.
And if you had nights where they were wrestling each other, man, you were in business. Holy shit, look at that block. That's when Nakajima beat... No, hold on. No, Nakajima, never mind. I was thinking of the year Marufuji beat Okada on
that was...
That might have been 2015 or 14.
Yeah, I forget. Maybe 14.
Might have been the same year. Might have been 16, actually. Might have been the other block.
Let me see. Or maybe it was 16.
Oh,
yeah, there he is. Block A.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yep. My God, was that G1 great.
Yeah, look at the names.
I mean, you talk about
Goto, Okada, Tanahashi, Bad Luck Fale, Marufuji, Togi Makabe, Tamatonga, Sonata, Ishii, and Tenzan. Okay. A block, not very great, but okay.
A block was really, still a good block. I mean, it wasn't the B block, but
here are all the wrestlers that are fucking phenomenal, all-time great pro wrestlers.
At that point in time.
Yeah. Hiroki Goto, Okada, Tanahashi, Marufuji, Ishii, Kenny Omega, Tetsuya Naito, Katsuhiko Nakajima, Big Michael Elgin. I know, but at that time he fucking rocked.
We're talking ball here. You can say it.
Katsuri Shibata and Yuji Nagata. And I'll do honorable mention for Tomoyaki Hanma still in 2016.
Yeah, I'll fucking... Come on, man. Hanma was great before the broken neck.
But that fucking tap the head? Oh, man.
God, his matches were just fucking on fire at that point in time.
That Kokashi, I'm going to hit this fucking thing. And the crowd just living and dying by every little headbutt. Yeah.
Listen, remember when is the lowest form of conversation. But that shit was great. I mean, you know, it's just you'd come out of a G1 in that era with like fucking 44, like 4.5-star match.
Yeah, you used to say like people would do like, who's your wrestler of the year? And they're like, no, stop. I'm not talking about it until after the G1.
Gotta wait for the G1. It's a pointless conversation until we have the G1. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to bag on modern New Japan, but that's not the case anymore. You have to wait for the G1 to like start talking awards. Yeah, man. Just a different listen. And that's kind of unfair to this generation.
Of course. Yeah, they can't live up to that.
You can't live up to it. I mean, to have 2 straight generations of that quality is fucking impossible. You can't. So they have to be their own wrestlers. They have to carve out their own style. And I think that they took steps to do that this year. They can't try to have the same kind of epics that generation of wrestlers had, because they're incapable of achieving it.
No, and some of those guys are special. And I think with the benefit of hindsight now, we see just how special Kenny Omega was, and just how special Okada was, and just how special Naito was, and just how special Tanahashi was. Like that's Ishii. I mean, these are all-time guys. Yeah, you can't.
There were G1s in that era where there would be guys like Ibushi and Shibata where they had no chance to fucking win. They were going to go 4-5, but they were going to have 7 4-star matches.
Yeah.
And they were just also rans in the fucking tournament. Like, you know, it's unfair in a lot of ways, but it is what it is. These guys they got to be their own thing, have their own kind of matches. The only wrestlers in this year's G1 who were capable of working that kind of style is like Takeshita, Goto, because he's still hanging around, people like that. Zack Sabre Jr. could have hung with those guys before, and he got there at the tail end of it, but he was still in pro wrestling. Noah in 2016, teaming with Ogawa and doing shit like that. Like, there's a couple guys, but it was just a whole different thing, and it's probably not the worst thing that this era is going to carve out their own style and be a different thing, but it was just the perfect time and place for guys. Yeah, it was special. And I tried to tell people in real time, look, enjoy this while you have it. It doesn't last forever. It can't last forever. And it lasted like almost a full decade, which is incredible. And we should be grateful. And it's one of the greatest time and places of any wrestling promotion of all time. 2012 to 2000, till pandemic. 2012 until Naito versus Kenta at New Beginning 2020. That's just a special time and place that can probably never be replicated again in the same way.
So there you go. That is it for the Flagship this week. Again, we encourage you guys to check out the Flagship 24/7 channel on YouTube. New episodes getting added to the archives. A bunch of 2015 episodes just got added. I'm going to start making my way through those 2016 episodes now, because obviously a lot of stuff, and hopefully there'll be some G1 reviews or whatnot in there. Just kind of working my way through creating as much of the archive as I possibly can, as much as I have in various different places. I got to go in there and kind of title them and date them or whatever. It's it's not super hard work, but it's a little time consuming, but hopefully going to get as many of them in there as I possibly can. And, we just have it set to random right now. I know that some people have said, hey, would you program these in the future? Would you do like a certain time at okay, it's September, let's only run September shows or whatever. And I might, once I get the archives get all as up as I think they can be, that maybe, maybe it would be worth doing some sort of programming. Right now, I just like having them on random and seeing where they go. And it seems like it's been a lot of fun for people to check out and listen to and really explore those older episodes. So yeah, voicesofwrestling.com/YouTube, youtube.com/voicesofwrestling. Listen to the Flagship 24/7 channel. And voicesofwrestling.com/Discord if you want to join the conversation on our Discord. We have a Flagship 24/7 channel too if you want to talk about what's going on in that channel, but talk about all the world of wrestling, sports, entertainment, movies, TV, anything is being talked about there on the Voice of Wrestling Discord. So voicesofwrestling.com/Discord to join. And that is it for us. So again, flagshippatreon.com, tons of bonus audio from this last week, so make sure you get up and subscribe to that as well. $5 tier gets you all the bonus audio. $10 tier gets you all the live shows, all the written content, and everything we've ever done over the many years now that we've had that Patreon. So flagshippatreon.com for that. So that is it for us. That is Joe. I'm Rich. Talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Wrestling Omakase brings you a full course meal of all of Japanese wrestling, men's and women's. Join me, a Japanese wrestling fan for over 20 years, along with a rotating cast of equally knowledgeable co-hosts, as we cover everything from New Japan and Stardom to Noah, All Japan, DDT, Tokyo Joshi, Mari Gold, Sendai Girls, Dragon Gate, GLEAT, Ice Ribbon, and even more stuff. If you're a fan of Japanese wrestling and you want coverage of the entire scene in one podcast, check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network each and every week. Get us wherever you get podcasts today.